Hey everybody, it's Beej. Really low for some reason. Let's bring the chair up a bit. Oh, that gas cylinder's working great. Okay. Ah! Nope, that doesn't do it either. Ah, shit, now I ruined my chair. Ah. Fuck off, highlight reel. Anyway. Yeah, I didn't shave. Because what do I care about anything, really? Oh, you're watching a bonus stream here on Loading Ready Run on twitch.tv, brought to you by you. This bonus stream today, let's talk about what it is today, and then I'll tell you all the cool things about stuff. So first up, this stream is my anime review for 2019 autumn and my preview for 2020. No, wait, hang on. So the end of summer? No, it was summer 2019. Yes, it's 2019 summer, and it's the beginning of 2019 fall. So it means I need to change the Twitch thing because it's incorrect. That's supposed to say summer. I hate this because right now it's the fall, right? So I was like, oh, I'm doing my review for fall. No, I'm not. I'm reviewing for summer. So that's real stupid of me. Well, that's fine. We're here. And it is a just chat and stream. I will obviously talk to you guys or answer questions. Those of you who are wondering, is this going to be spoiler heavy? Yeah, probably. I'm going to mention stuff I watched during the summer, and I might mention things things I liked about the stuff I watched in summer. So there's that. The stuff that I'm previewing for fall, for autumn, is probably not going to be spoiler heavy unless I have something I'm already reading. And I'm like, I love this. I want to see how they do this. But yeah, we're going to see how that all comes together. So if I keep glancing over like this a lot, it's because I'm looking at you guys in the chat. If I keep looking down, it's because you're going to follow along with me just so it's a lot easier. And in fact, maybe what I'll do is I'll even zoom in a little bit more so you get to see one thing at a time on screen. So there's my mouse. We're going to do this off of anychart.net because I don't want to keep any notes. What is wrong? Camera is slightly off. There we go. That's way better. So there's this. I want to thank everybody who subscribes to us on Patreon, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. You can find out about what we do here at loadingreadyrun.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, in fact, I mean, this is the VODs channel, but you can go to our main channel, youtube.com/loadingreadyrun, and you can join up there as a YouTube member. That helps support us as well. And also, a ton of you are even subscribing already to this, so thank you for that. And boy, some of you have already given a lot of stuff too. Let's just go through that real quick. Through your subs and bits here on Twitch. So the Moat Man subscribed for 67 months, saying soon, because I was going live soon. Amber Zen for 17 months. Freshmaker for 21 months. Where better to show my monthly love for this channel than the Weeb Zone. Zeflin7790 subscribed for 14 months, 14 and counting. A Numbskull1 subscribed for 3 months. Sam Wong subscribed for 38 months. Yay! And Maricat dropping 20 subs in this channel. Wow, the Maricat. So welcome to Phosphor, Zosia Rose, Siebert, Frozen Nitrogen, Jedi Master Zil, Z2, Z2, WSGB1, UK Temperance, Richard Erman, Psy Thief, Midnight Requiem, The King of Nat, Iceberg Man, Wales 9001, Sinks Fern, Fracassio, Vivian Shade, Energy Spoon, Utilita Love, or could be Utilita Love, Zan Cage, and That Bronson Guy. Thank you, the Maricat, and welcome to you 20 new people. Pinnery's got a 38-month resub for saying Rip Chair. Weagle's back for their 3rd year. Hey, welcome back, Weagle, for saying Beej time. Hajnal Endot with 95 bits for the Weeb Shit time. And Pterodactyl back for 26 months, starting here, huh? Pretty much. So, right. Let's get on with what it is that I'm doing. I felt pretty good about what I got to watch in the summer. Lots of choices for me. I know Heather didn't have as many choices, not as much stuff as she liked. We're going to start with actually what we're looking at right now. Araburu Kisetsu no Otome Domo Yo, which I've heard translated as maidens in their savage season. I don't know if that's the good name for it or not, but yeah. I really liked this because it was a bunch of nerdy girls who are all in high school, who are all in a literature club, and they're reading, because literature, especially like literature that is adult literature, is inevitably going to run into sex. Oh, by the way, we're eating yuzu chips. Inevitably, they're going to run across sex, and that's kind of where this comes into, is them being like, oh, this is a thing. And the girl you can see in the back with the megaphone, she's the prude, just so you know. She's the senpai as well, and she's the one who's the president of the lit club. And she's all like, we can't talk about that. We can't say things about, we need a new name for it. We need to come up with a name. And they spend a few minutes trying to come up with a new name, and they end up with S.E. Batsu as a way of referring to it. And I really liked it because it had that very kind of fresh feel. I loved the first episode because the first episode ends with a punch in the face. Like, not a literal punch in the face, a figurative punch in the face. And I was like, oh, I like this. I like how they set the whole thing up in the first episode. I like that our main character, the girl holding the flag there, that she just immediately runs into, like, has the idea of sex put right in front of her, and she can't fathom how to deal with it. And it was like, this is really cool. And the thing is, it's not a lewd show. It's more about like watching the kind of uncomfortableness of like being a teenager and not really getting how to get through that kind of thing. And I just really liked it's kind of the fresh way that it wanted to deal with that. I liked the way that everybody's relationships were like, oh, this is really awkward. There's some really not cringy moments, but some shit where you're like, oh, that's a bad. You're doing a bad idea right now. Don't do that. We're gonna watch you do that bad thing. Yeah, here it comes. Here we go. Great. That's what I really liked about it. So if you have a hard time watching that kind of thing, and it says a romance, a slice of life, because it is just telling us stories at high school, 5 different stories really, but they all intertwine. It's a drama, but it's also funny. And yeah, there's awkward moments, but I would just say watch the first episode and decide whether or not you're kind of grabbed by what's going on, because like being a boy and being in high school and navigating a lot of that kind of stuff myself was not the same as being a girl in high school in Japan. Being a boy in high school in North America, different, but it still a lot of stuff felt kind of familiar. And it is, Technic Al is asking, is it considered a coming-of-age story? I'd say you could see it that way. It is definitely there's a lot about character growth in this. And there's just some interesting ideas. And there's probably also going to be stuff that's really like uncomfortable for people who don't like certain types of relationships. So, tread carefully. So let's keep rolling here. What else was I watching? Not that. I wasn't watching that. I wasn't watching that. Wasn't watching that. I can see why. Yeah. Dr. Stone. So Dr. Stone, very interesting, because I only picked this up because on the Something Awful forums, people were talking about how good this was. And what I like is survival stories as well. I like stories about people who are put into situations where it's like, we got to figure out a way to think our way out of this. And when it's like this kind of thing, I'm like, okay, this could be really interesting. But I'm not a fan of the character designs, and I couldn't figure out why until I found out that the artist is Boichi. And Boichi does Sunken Rock, which I read like 50 or 60 or 80 chapters of Sunken Rock, because it would alternate between this is very interesting to this is not so interesting, and then like go back again. And I kept trying to be like, and he didn't have a lot that I was reading at the time, so it was kind of absorbing time, and I kept going back and forth until finally I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this. And so when I saw this, I'm like, oh, that's some heavy Boichi art. That's why I'm bumping up against this badly. So I haven't read the manga. But the show, I think, is super interesting. It's a weird-ass premise. everyone gets turned to stone, and 3,700 years goes by, and Senku, our onion-headed character, he's like super, super, super smart, and he manages to get himself out of his stone, because the stone just it doesn't kill everybody, it just turns everybody to stone, but it just covered your outer layer in stone, and everyone could, like, technically you could stay alive if you wanted to stay alive, I guess. And so he just counted the seconds to kind of like track how long it's been that he's been trapped inside the stone. And yeah, he is, as everyone's putting down, he is 10 billion% the smartest. He likes the number 10 billion, so you'll hear that a lot. And he decides that he's going to kickstart civilization back again, and he's going to do that by using his smartness. And he immediately runs into some problems. He sets himself up for some problems, but then he manages to fix them. But it is fascinating because any of the technological stuff is very interesting. Like, he's trying to come up with, like, he devises how to make soap. Or he's like, I need to figure out how to crack more people out of stone. It's something I've been trying to do. And another guy who was a friend of his in high school also cracks himself out of the stone just by being in the right place. And so he's like, how did you do it? And he's like, well, I was here. And then they started like, okay, there must be a way to actually make this chemical made of bat guano that's been dripping on you for like a few hundred years. There must be a way to like synthesize that. So he had to figure out how to make that. And then it's a lot of chemistry, and then there's a lot of things to do with physics, and there's a lot of things like to do with all that kind of stuff. There's in one episode he devises a system to move stuff efficiently. It's fascinating because it all comes down to it just comes down to him using his intellect to try to push through stuff. The earlier part where it establishes like an enemy for him, I don't like that. And I have no idea how this is going to come out later in the episodes. It's only halfway through the season. You can see it's 14 of 24 right now. It's into like its 110th or 120th chapter. And I kind of just feel like I just want to read ahead, but I'm going to wait until this is done showing. And if they don't decide to make any more, I'm going to probably just catch up on the manga. And it is kind of like Primitive Technology, the anime. It's really quite fascinating. But there's way more personality. You just have to feel like you just, like, yeah, Night Valiant says they feel like the antagonist is not a great idea, and it's kind of like there is definitely going to be room for, like, human antagonists, but the fact is that what I wanted out of the story was just everybody to, you know, come out of the thing and be, like, for people to come out and be like, how do we get this shit running again? And there's only a few of us. Good thing we have the smartest person alive to lead us through this and to try to make this stuff happen. And part of the issue is that he has to negotiate so many alliances with people and find things that they want so that he can get them to work for him so he can rebuild his scientific kingdom, essentially. And I'm really impressed with that idea that he's like, he probably is only going to have maybe 50 years of to be able to, like, I want to try to catch us up to where we were, and I only have this many years to do it in, and so I have to attract as many people as I can to do the hard work of making the stuff. Because I can't just be smart and have steel, for example. I need to be smart at a bunch of people so that they can do all the things that I need them to do so we can have steel. And he hasn't even done that yet in the anime. We're up to iron in the anime. So anyway, really good. I was surprised. I thought it was going to be meh. It's really good. And it's not as lewd as a lot of the Boichi stuff because this isn't being written by him. It's being written by somebody else. I think Boichi's just the artist for this. So, all right. This is what else I'm watching. Dumbbell Nan Kidomoteru. I'm reading this because, as everybody knows, I don't mind lewd stuff. And they do a really good job of actually not making this terribly lewd compared to the manga. And if you've watched this, you're like, I haven't read the manga. What are you talking about? I'm like, trust me when I say there's a lot more in the muscle training segments when you see everybody kind of doing, you know, all the girls are all like in their like crop tops and stuff instead of like their normal tank tops. It's like, oh yeah, there's those points where they're posing and they're damn near nude or they're almost showing off, you know, all the lewd bits. And they're like, trust me when I say the manga turns that shit up even more. But it's a really funny show. And as people have been saying here, the workout advice in the manga's solid. Like, it's on point. And there's even little bits at the end where you get to watch, you get to be led through an exercise by, hey, we're all going to do this together. We're all going to do push-ups together. We're all going to do these stretches together. And they keep trying to emphasize how important it is to do the exercise the right way. And here's what the right way looks like, and here's what the wrong way looks like. You need to do it like this. And they build a story around it. And there's a lot of contrivances because it is like trying to work in. Everything has to do with muscles. Everything. No matter what they end up doing, it all ends up coming back to muscles somehow. The opening and the ending songs are both really fun too. It is really, really like, for the amount that you think that, oh, this is really leaning into like sexualizing the girls, it kind of isn't. But the guys are definitely all on display with massive muscles because that's just it. It's funny to watch somebody go from being a complete stick to like being like, oh yeah, and just like burst through their clothing. Like, that's Machio, the main male character. He just can burst through his clothing. It's really stupid. It's really funny. The workout stuff is great. I can't talk about any of the other stuff. And again, don't get all of your life advice from anime, but I think it's pretty damn good. And it's a way to feel excited. I was standing up at the end and like, I'm going to do the stretches as well. Why not? Let's see if I can remember how to do this stuff. Sure, let's do it, Let's do the isometric stuff. Sure, let's do that, like, so that's fun. All right. I liked it. Moving on. Didn't watch that. We dropped this. We dropped it. We dropped NN no Shobotai at like episode 10 or 11. And it's so hard because it's shonen as hell. Like, it really is. And in all those ways that I didn't want it to be. There's a young guy who, he's the dude in the center with the devil teeth. He has this like, he's one of the people who have these like fire abilities where they can like, his thing is that he can shoot flames out of his ankles essentially, and he can use them to fly and stuff. But everybody, like the dude next to him who's blonde, can actually summon, he can summon plasma, and so he has this sword and he thinks he's a knight, but he's like a knight king, and there's like this ridiculous stuff. And so he has like a lightsaber practically, but he makes this plasma to whatever. A lot of the people have different abilities. I think it's not that one. But there are a lot of like, there's a girl in the series. She's the younger dark-haired one. I don't remember most of these people's names. Who, whenever she manifests her abilities, for one thing, she walks around, her outfit, like Shinra's outfit there, his outfit has no boots because he would just burn through his boots. So he walks around with no boots. And everybody else kind of has an outfit made so that they don't have to like have that like to get in the way of that. So her outfit is, her coat is wide open and she's in a bikini top, like a really like small bikini top. Still haven't figured out why. And her thing is that she manifests red outlines of cat ears and a cat tail, and I can't even remember what her thing is, but she's the everyone run into me and titty smash and all these things, and it's like, okay. And both Heather and I were like kind of sick of it after a while. We're like, it's just, they literally interrupt a fight around episode 9 or 10 so that she can like trip. She's completely not even part of the fight. She's just kind of there, and she trips or something, and some lewd shit happens to her, and we get some fan service, and it's like, it's such a trope, and it's not even a subversion of the trope because it doesn't do anything. Like, at least in the weightlifting show, the subversion of the trope is everyone who's getting nude is just always the guys. They're always the ones busting down to like the tiny like posing pouches and stuff. So I can kind of be like, okay, that's kind of subverting the trope a little bit. All the nudity in this show is really largely on the guys. In this, it's like, hey, look, they're having a fight, and then some fan service happens for no reason. It's like, isn't that funny that you're not subverting anything? You're just doing the trope, and you're doing it so obviously that you didn't do anything interesting with it. It just was a complete whiplash. And it's like, why is that there? I don't get it. And the problem is I don't even know if I like the show or not, because it starts to feel like it's turning into a weird harem thing. And I'm just like, I really don't like the show. I don't think that's the fault of the animators. I just think that's maybe what the show is about. And I just kind of felt like after we watched like another episode or two past it, I'm like, I am starting to meet all of the captains of the different fire divisions, and they all seem like it's going to be a showdown one after the one. And I'm like, oh, Christ, I remember Bleach. Yeah, great. Don't care. I'm done. And Heather just turned and looked at me, and she's like, do you want to keep watching this? I'm like, no. And we're like, done. Okay, great. We're out of here. So, yeah. There's certain things I don't mind watching over and over. But when I see it that obvious, I'm kind of like, I don't want to watch it again. So, anyway, there's a lot of other stuff that I don't mind watching over and over. So, anyway, we dropped that. If it's your cup of tea, remember everything I say in the show. This is my opinion. If this is your cup of tea, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you're into it. And if you love what's going on in it, I'm so glad that you love what's going on into it, actually. I'm not interested in watching any more of it, but I think you should be if you're really still into it. Because if you can find a thing you like in this world, grab it. Like, hold on to it. Enjoy it. And don't give a shit about what other people say, unless you're, like, hurting other people. Like, you need to keep that for you, right? All right, let's have a drink. Tonight's drink is water. Didn't watch that. I didn't know what Given was going to be. Because when I started watching it, I kind of knew what it was going to be. I was like, wow, this is okay. It's about a guy who is very good at playing guitar. That's Uenoyama. It's the black-haired dude. And it's about this other kid who seems really hurt. I missed the first few seconds, and Heather had to tell me. It's like, that redheaded kid that showed him in a room and a shadow of what looked like somebody clearly hanging from their neck from the ceiling of their bedroom, and then he left, and I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, drama comedy, and it ends up not that ends up being a focal point of the series, definitely. But this is a fun series, and it's interesting. And I think it's the first BL series I really enjoyed, because I couldn't tell if it was going to be a BL series or not, because I was wondering the entire time. And then you start to find out, what's gone on there. A boys' love series. And it was so... It kind of just walked around it a lot, but made it feel such a natural, the whole evolution of what goes on, because it looks like these two guys, maybe they're supposed to be a couple at some point, or maybe they're just actually supposed to be friends, and it's not clear. And I just really liked that, and I love music stories, but it felt really nice. Like, it felt like there's a lot going on. You can see a lot of tension and pain. Mafuyu, the red-haired guy, there's a lot of pain, and there's a lot of detachment he has from the world. He doesn't know how to deal with a lot of stuff, and or rather, the way he's dealing with it is that he is detached. That's just his personality, and it's really, I just really liked it. And it's done now, and if you have time for it, I would say give this a watch. If you like to watch a story of multiple people kind of, doing their thing. The one thing that got me about the show, which I think, and as cishet male here, right? It's, it definitely does the thing that I see a lot of Yuri manga do, where it's like, in this world, being queer is not something anyone gives a shit about. It's people don't go ugh or any of that kind of stuff. It's very it's very much like this is a thing that happens. People kind of accept it. That you don't get to see people have like an opinion, good or bad about it. It's just like this is a thing that is happening. So Myriad Truths asks, so this is actually gay romance. The show is not two guys getting together and dating and playing guitar and doing whatever. It's not about that. It's about everything leading where two of these boys meet and forming an emotional relationship with each other that feels like friendship, but could also feel like it was something more. And it still manages to be boys' love, because a lot of like, there's a lot of Yuri that's like that as well. A lot of girls' love where it feels like something's coming, and that's usually enough, right? It's like, that's a very Japanese sentiment in a lot of ways, is like you sit outside with the woman you love and you're both like sitting there drinking sake and looking at the moon, and you go, isn't the moon beautiful? And you both know what that means. It means that you think that she's beautiful, but rather than just be obvious and say it, you say something poetic that is saying the word, but it's not ascribing any sort of direction. And I know that sounds a little weird, but that's definitely like that kind of pointed reference. It's like how a lot of Japanese poetry is, where you will say a thing about what's going on in a like something that's going on in the autumn, and because you reference something in the autumn, it means that it calls to mind a lot of other things that has to do with the autumn. And that can be a feeling, or that can be like a whole bunch of that kind of stuff. So it's, I took a lot of Japanese literature and poetry and history and stuff when I was in university. So all that's kind of flooding back. This series is not a platonic love series either. And I'm not going to talk about any more about what's in it, because the things that happened in the last 3 episodes are very important, I think, to the show. But I think it is very interesting to watch something that feels more like a romance, and yet spends all this time not being a romance. And then there's the last 3 episodes. So I think it's worth a watch. And I also really love the fact that, like in a lot of Yuri manga, queer relationships are accepted as a normal thing that just happens, and that nobody ever has a bad opinion of. Nobody has a bad opinion of. That's just kind of like, oh, this is what this is. This is what's going on here, which is super refreshing. And it's weird because a lot of stuff that I understood about what had gone on in Japan, like over the last like couple decades, has been that the rise of like queer people in Japan has been a thing, that people are becoming more and more aware of that, and there's that kind of acceptance of, oh, it's fine if you're queer in any way. It's just that I know that that's a box that then I can put you in, and you don't belong to any sort of other box. You are in that box, and that box is far away from me, and you are not a thing. And so when you're confronted with it, it's like a lot of families, I think, in North America, when they're confronted with it, when you have like a family member, especially like a kid, having that whole thing of, oh, your kid is gay. That's when it starts to come home to roost. You have to be like, well, how do I feel about that? And there's a lot of stories that get written in Japan about those things happening as well. And so the fact that I'm seeing more and more stuff that's kind of aspirational, it's like, this is the world we want. We want 2 boys to feel like they can fall in love with each other, 2 girls that can feel like they can fall in love with each other, and feel like the kind of that society's okay with that. Because I still read a lot where it's like 2 girls who are kind of fighting that instinct, like we both want to fall in love with each other, but we know that's the thing you do in high school, and then when you're done high school you have to go out and get married and have a kid because that's what you're supposed to do. So Given has that kind of aspirational feel of, this is what society should feel like, which felt really good too. It felt really cool to watch that. So rolling on. Didn't watch that. Didn't watch that. Didn't watch that. Aha. Watching several LARC things. Kanata no Astra. I didn't know what this was going to be. The first 2 episodes were great. And in fact, the whole thing was really good. The first 2 episodes were great. They were really exciting to me. I really enjoyed watching them. Which is funny, in a way, because it's like, and I think the first 2 are meant to be watched together, and it feels like the show is not made for commercial breaks. Oh, the last one was called Given, that we talked about. So this is Kanata no Astra. It's about a group of high school students, plus the 10-year-old sister of one of the high school students, who are all in a group that are all going to go to a camp on a different planet, because it's the future. And when they get there, there's a sphere of light that warps them into outer space, 5,000 light years away from their home planet. Now, I want to be clear. When it says outer space, I don't mean they warps them on another planet. It warps them into low orbit around another planet. And they're wearing suits, because they have all of environmental suits that they have to wear whenever you fly in space. You have to be wearing an environmental suit, and it's the future, so they're all like nicely fitted and whatever like that. And they all have helmets that just kind of go on, because it's the future and those kind of things happen. So anyway. So yeah, they all zap themselves. They all get zapped into orbit, floating around a planet, and like, what do we do? And they see a ship, just an old spaceship, and they're like, go! And they all have to try to get onto the spaceship, and they all have to try to work together. And they're trying to figure out what happened. Why are they there? Why did this happen? But also, how do we get back? Like, where are we? And then how do we get back to our planet? Like to home. How do we go home? I really liked it, and there's a good mystery in there, and there's some parts that are a little confusing, but it was good. It was really good. The ending episode is like a double length episode as well. It felt like a nice show. There's some interesting things that go on in terms of like, well, you know, why are we here? What's going on? How are we going to make these trips home? And I just love the idea of, well, we have this ship and we have each other, and we're just gonna. It wasn't Lord of the Flies either. It was kind of like, we're gonna have to understand. But maybe one of them is responsible for all of them being out there in the first place, and who is that? And we don't know. So there might be a traitor in their midst. It's good. It's really good. Watch a couple episodes. I think if you like the kind of how are we going to survive and that kind of thing, and a lot of like, you know, oh, we'll go get some food and stuff, and I can just gin up a thing that tells me whether the food is good or not. It's like they wave a lot of stuff away because of the sci-fi, but it's still kind of an interesting show. Even if you can deal with that. So Kanata no Astra, I was like, I like that. Hey, yeah, okay. Where I'm getting this from is not caught up yet. Doesn't matter, because Karakai Jozu no Takagi-san, Teasing Master Takagi-san, is so good. The first season was so good. The second season has been great. I'm hoping that the last episode of the season is going to be what I hope it is. They've also been mixing in Ashita wa Doyobi, which is the Tomorrow is Sunday, which is all of her friends have their own spin-off manga done by the same guy. And this is not a short. This is a 22-minuter, but it's short segments. Like one episode can only takes maybe like half or a third of the time of the actual episode, and it's fun. And Takagi's like super cute, and Nishikata's an idiot. And watching the two of them, she's so smart. And watching the two of them interact, and like reading the manga as well, and reading all the spin-off mangas that go with it are also a lot of fun. I hope that they get to where I'm expecting them to get to by the end, and not all how I'm getting it is not fully released at all yet. So I'm waiting on watching the rest of it. But I already know it's good because I'm way ahead in the manga. So definitely watch this. Watch the first season. Yeah. Didn't watch that. Didn't watch that. Didn't watch that. We were thinking about watching this, and I don't think we were able to find it. And we're just like, or we did watch the first episode, Heather and I, and we just kind of like, and just like dropped it. So there you go. Ah. Didn't watch this. Oh, I almost missed this. And Heather was like, I want magical girl content. And I'm like, well, what do you see? And she's like, aha, Maho Shoujo, we're watching this. Yes! Machikado Mazoku is really good. It is bordering gag manga, like in terms of how ridiculous it is. It is straight up comedy. It's got a brilliant premise. What if you woke up one morning and discovered that you're a demon that has to fight the magical girl? So the curse of 40,000 yen has to do with the fact that they have to live on, that her and her family, the demons, so Yuko, or Shadow Mistress Yuko will be her name, and they call her Shamiko for short, which is a great nickname. So Shamiko, her family is from the Dark Clan, and the girl that you see there, Momo, the one who's all in pink, she's from the Light Clan. And the Light Clan, all their power, they become magical girls and stuff. And there's lots of magical girls, I guess, spread out through Japan or whatever. And so Yuko wakes up and she's got horns and a tail, and her mom says, okay, I've been meaning to tell you this. Hey, we're from the Dark Clan, and that means you manifest with demonic power, which is awesome. And that means that if you go defeat the local magical girl, we can probably lift this curse. That means we have to live on $400 a month, because it's her and her mom and her little sister, all three of them living in like a single room, I think it's like a 1LK is what they're kind of living in. It's like a really tiny thing. It's like, if you go do this, that'll lift the curse. And she's like, I got to go do that. And so she, every time they try to get, raise more money, they lose it. Like, it's like, oh, if you find $1,000 on the street or whatever, and you come home, something will have broken in your apartment, or you'll lose it, or somebody will come claim it, or whatever. It's really weird. But yeah, it's really funny, because she meets Momo and is like, I have to defeat you in order to deal with the curse. And Momo's like, okay. And Momo's like got no affect. She's like Rei Ayanami, right? Like, just got nothing going on. And God, they're funny. Like, and she is constantly like teasing her and stuff. And I can't get over how good this is, that just kind of just hid as a thing. And I'm like, every time it shows up, we're like, we watched that tonight. It was this, and Fruits Basket was like, we are watching this tonight, no matter what. We are making time for this. So yeah, nothing weird or awful happens through the 12 episodes we watch. It's not like no downers or anything like that, or anyone getting their head bitten off or whatever. It is literally just a lighthearted comedy. It's goofy as hell. And it's funny watching a brand new demon girl who has no power, next to no power, trying to deal with a magical girl who has a bunch of power, who's very, very strong, and keeps like misleading her and teasing her and stuff. And she's trying to do her thing. And yeah, it's really endearing. Did not watch this. 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 I kind of, just to be clear, I liked Railgun. We watched the 3 seasons of Railgun. I didn't like Accelerator as a character. That's why I didn't want to watch Toaru Kagaku no Accelerator. So I didn't. I don't know if it's good. Maybe it is. If it is, I hope you enjoy any of the a certain series. But yeah, I just was like, it ain't my jam. Didn't watch this. Didn't even hear about this. Rugby, eh? I'm not always hot on sports stuff, so I don't mind that I missed it. Oh yeah, this one that was about your mom getting into a video game and your mom's there, but she's way stronger than you, and I was like, cool. Kind of didn't care, sorry. Okay. Uchi no ko no tame na, I think it's Uchi no musume no tame nareba ore wa moshikashitara mao mo taoseru kamo shirenai. I am watching this, or rather, I watched this because I'm reading the manga, because I like dad manga. I think it's very, very cute. This is 12 episodes, early stuff. I've heard about how this ends. I am not interested in hearing about more about how it ends. I'm interested in just what's going on now. This is definitely a light novel title, and I'm pretty sure it is a light novel. And it's just super cute, because Latina's very cute, and it's neat watching the stuff that goes on. There is a part that they didn't animate very well where, hey, here come spoilers. There's a part halfway through where Latina, who's a demon girl who gets adopted by Dale, who's the brown-haired dude in the back, he discovers her in a forest, and she's like a little kid, and it's like, well, I can't just leave you out here to die, so we're going to bury your dead dad who's actually died out here in the forest, and I'm bringing you back with me to town. I'm going to adopt you, and we're going to teach you a little bit of my language, and they're going to teach you a lot of my language, and just kind of keep, and then I'm going to send you to school and stuff. And so she goes to school. She knows she's different, too. She knows that she's not a human. She knows she's a demon girl. But she just figures like any other kid, I just fit in. And so then she meets a teacher who's incredibly racist and has this like immediate turn on her where it's just like, you're one of the, look at her and whatever. And then, it's like, she's awful. And then like, get out of here, you evil demon girl and whatever. And so then Dale does the thing that you always wanted your parents to do, which you always want to do like in real life, which is where he's really well thought of. Has a lot of power. He's technically a priest, and he works for a duke. And so he goes to the store, or not the store. He goes to the where is it? The temple. That's what it was, because there's a bunch of stores and temples. So he goes to the temple to talk to like the head of the church who runs the school, and is like, "Hey, so did you hear about what happened?" And the principal's like, "Yeah, we did." He's like, "So you know what I want you to do about it?" Yeah, in fact, we've already defrocked that woman who was teaching your daughter, and we've thrown her out, and we've done all these. And he's like, "Yeah, and you know why you did that? You need to do that?" And they're like, "Yeah, no, we totally understand why, because you work for the Duke and you're a priest and all these things." And he's like, yeah, I want you to understand that if that ever happens to my daughter again, it's going to get worse for you. And they're like, "Yeah, don't you worry about that. New teacher, everything's going to be great." And it's kind of the thing where you're like, yeah, you feel really good. That's like, you always want your parents to like come through for you, like that kind of thing, right? Get rid of the shitty teacher. But the way they animated it, the teacher came on way too strong, way too fast, because in the manga, it's a bit of a slower burn because the teacher suspects something and then doesn't, and you don't get to see any of that. You just get to see the teacher discovering it immediately and then going from being like a little strict but supportive and then seeing this thing and just completely losing her shit. And I'm like, I don't think you earned that. But anyway, later on in the show, you get to go see her play with a bunch of magical winged giant wolves, and that's interesting. And there's all sorts of other things, and I'm like, yeah, she's going to become super powerful and whatnot. Yeah, probably the thing to do is, based on what I hear happens at the end of the light novel, and whether or not the manga will change it or not, is just to ignore what's happening at the end of the light novel and don't read that far or do whatever, because I kind of just don't give a shit. So anyway, rolling on. Vinland Saga. Didn't watch this because I wasn't that interested in the concept. I've heard it's very good. I know the manga's supposed to be fantastic. Ian, I think, was watching Vinland Saga and is really enjoying it. It didn't grab me. I didn't want to watch something like this season, so I will probably not ever watch, maybe not even read Vinland Saga. So, yeah. Everyone in chat being like, "But it's so good," and I'm like, I know. I'm sorry. It didn't grab me. I might read the manga one day. I'm sure that'll be around, and then maybe I'll have to find this again. But yeah. So let's keep rolling. Anything else? Didn't watch this. Yes, they put all the shorts in a different area. Didn't watch that. Seemed like the kind of thing I would watch, but didn't want to go out of my way to look for it. I did watch this. Mostly because I was like, oh, so it's adventure comedy ecchi. Oh, Christ. All right, well, then, again, because of a plane crash, we're spending the springtime of our lives on Desert Island. There's nothing to do here, so we have to make everything and eat everything. Check out our high school survival story. I'm like, sold. Got it. Okay. From the bones, the skins, and the trees of beasts. I'm into this. because it's interesting knowledge. Definitely. Whoa, Christ. It's just kind of, a lot of interesting knowledge. And there's like a lot of, hey, let's walk around in our bras and panties, going swimming and stuff like that. It's, but it's really interesting too. The survival stuff you learn is still very interesting, because I'm sure a lot of it is still real information, much like in Dr. Stone, where it's like, this is real information. It's also the kind of dangerous stuff you need to know about. And it, as Thraxamore says, information and titillation, which is a great way to get across your information sometimes. So yeah, it's, I really liked it. I was waiting I read the manga. There's more to the manga, and, which they don't get into. They only do it from this one angle. The manga has an alternate angle. But I really had a lot of fun watching this, and if they made more of it, I would watch more of it, because I thought it was very interesting. And I'm going to probably continue reading the manga too, because the manga is has been very interesting as well. Tejina Senpai. I watched an episode of this. I dropped it. Part of the reason was I didn't like the character designs. Part of the reason was I didn't like the fact that it seemed like a one-trick pony, and there's a lot of like one-trick ponies that I don't mind. I mean, shit, I watched Uma Musume, but this was just something it didn't. I don't know. I bounced off it real hard. I hope you enjoyed it. I know some of you did actually. You brought it up that you did enjoy it. Cool. It just, I don't know, it didn't click for me for some reason. Yamashibai, did not watch that. All right, Leftovers. Carolyn Tuesday, we're still watching that. Right, then, okay, so the new episode's out. We'll have to go watch that at some point. We are up to 23, Heather and I have watched up to. And it's been good. And it's weird because it's an interesting story. But at times, it really shows that it's being written by people who aren't a part of where the culture was coming from. It'd be like if North Americans wrote a Japanese period drama. Like Tom Cruise's The Last Samurai. Like that kind of thing. It's like, it's the kind of thing where when you watch it, you're like, oh, everyone's singing in English. Well, I mean, they're singing English words. They have remarkable pronunciation. What they're singing doesn't make a lick of goddamn sense. So it's kind of weird that it's like that. And yet, a lot of music's really good. There's been a lot of the stuff that's gone on. I've been like, some of the, everybody has one name. That's the thing that pisses me off. Everybody has a single name. You know, like they talk about, you're like, oh, this is, my name's Rick. This is Olivia. Like you're sitting down to talk to these people who are part of like a television program. It's like, yeah, I'm Olivia. I'm Dave. It's like, you guys live on Mars and it's 50 years in the future, but I don't think you all dropped your last names. The only person that I remember having a real last name are either the presidential candidates who are running right now or Angela, and she only goes by Angela, but she actually has a real last name, and it's just like, so it's, but it's good. I think it feels good. It might not grab you, because I could feel places where I'm like, I feel like I'm bouncing off of it a little bit, but I'm also like, it's kind of fun in its own way. So, and it's funny to see how they involve so many different musical genres and stuff, and how every kind of music that's out there is like, this is all happening. Just like it is happening on Earth right now, it's still happening 50 years in the future on Mars. All the music is happening. AI is the big thing, and so it's really weird to be people who just want to play their own music, play instruments and play their own music. It's a very odd thing to want to do, and I've really liked it. I'm looking forward to the last episode and seeing how it all wraps up. Did not watch that. Of course, we watched Fruits Basket. The first season has been great. I've loved the fact that it's getting into... There's been way more I remember from this that has come out of this, that has come out of the original anime, which is the thing. I have never read the manga for this. And so to be like, apparently this is hewing closer to the manga. There's been a lot more stuff. And I think it's great. I am really happy that this got another crack at anime because it might drag more people into reading the manga. Probably will drag me into doing it as well. And what I love about it is that so much of the show is, and I probably said this before, so much of the show is set up to be like, oh, look, it's this impossibly happy girl who has these two very hot boys who are cousins, who are very interested in her. And it really feels like it's going to be a harem anime, right? Like it really feels like it's setting itself up for that. And it's not. It's about all these messed up people. And everybody has problems. And everybody has family problems. And how all their family problems manifest. And how bad all those family problems can get. And how all of these people show up and are drawn to Toru. And how she has her own problems and she's trying to work through them, but she's also she just wants to be there to help other people as well and doesn't know how to do it. And everybody slowly, you start to see all of the facades like behind all of them and understanding stuff. And it's like, yeah, you watch the original Fruits Basket anime, which is a good anime. And I didn't walk out of that feeling like and maybe I was younger at the time too. I didn't walk out of that feeling the same way that I did after watching the first season of this, the first 25 episodes. This really, there's a lot that's bad for all of these different people, and a lot of them don't like each other, and there's a lot of dark family secrets, and it's so interesting to see a show that feels like it's supposed to be a harem show, and it's not a harem show at all. It's not about everyone falling in love with this girl. It's about everyone coming to this girl because there's some sort of light in her that's helping them understand their own problems. And there's a reason why it's been critically acclaimed. It's very strong. You have to watch it. Didn't watch this. Seemed like the kind of thing I might enjoy with the whole Taisho era Japan thing and living with your family as a coal cellar and all these kind of things. And then it was like, family is slaughtered by demons. I'm like, probably not for me then. I didn't watch this. Didn't watch Mix, which I was like, oh, hey, it's 26 years after Touch. That could be interesting. I never watched Touch, but also I'm not also one to have to indulge in the really old stuff because it's a touchstone or something like that. Like, I never feel like I shouldn't say never. I rarely feel like I need to go back and watch something that's really old so I can be like, oh, it's time to enjoy the new thing or the new, or like the revitalization of an older thing. I a lot of times bounce off that kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't really feel like I need to be doing that. So I don't know what the hell that even is. And we have movies. Yes, the I like how they say this, that it's the anime movie based on Dragon Quest V, Hand of the Heavenly Bride, but your story is also like, as I understood, it was also the movie that was, I didn't watch this, but I just thought it was interesting because I'm pretty sure this is the one where it's about the dad and the kid having a relationship, like understanding each other by way of Dragon Quest. But yeah, didn't watch Free. New Pokemon movie. Did not watch the sequel film trilogy for Logue. Did not watch Hello World. Didn't watch most movies, in fact. So probably just go through this fairly fast. Ni no Kuni got a movie. Interesting. Didn't watch the 14th One Piece film, or probably the 38th Detective Conan film that probably came out this year at some point. It sounds interesting. Living in Isolation, Isolated Island. I should have to look that up at some point. And Pretty sure there's nothing else in here that I watched. And I'm just going to scroll through real fast to ensure that I haven't. Oh, yeah. There's a commercial for Dungeon Meshi. That's awesome. Dungeon Meshi's good manga. Delicious in Dungeon, people have been calling it as well. Jurassic, King of Ashura, sorry, we're going to get through this, and then I'm going to pop back up to the top. Right. I think last season we watched the first episode of this, and something I was just like, nope, bounced off that super hard. Didn't watch any of Mob Psycho 100. I might get around to that one day. I also haven't watched One Punch Man Season 2. God, everything's in here. Good for Annie Chart. I mean, everything but like Steven Universe and She-Ra and all that stuff, which apparently is like, on other sites, they list that in the anime section, and I'm like, I wish you wouldn't, because it doesn't really matter, but... Myriad Truth, I read a lot of Mob Psycho, and I got to a certain point and was like, I can't do any more. We're not done, by the way. And I was like, I can't read any more of this. I can't deal with it. Meh. Watched the first, 5 episodes of Mob Psycho and was like, oh, this is really cool. I'll, get some more of it and watch it later. And then didn't. And I've been kind of like... Because I wanted to kind of binge it a little bit, and I just didn't. And so I'm like, okay, so that's not happening to me. That's too bad. So what we're going to do, because I can do this here, I need to take a commercial. And I'll come back after commercial, and we will go straight to fall of 2019. So you guys sit tight. I'll be back in about 3 or 4 minutes, all right? Really short break. Let's get that up a little bit hotter. I'm going to have another chip. Good. I thought I would duck the audio so you wouldn't have to listen to that. Always thinking of you guys. So let's come back. Oh crap, that's right. Sorry. So I'm still in my costume from earlier when we were shooting today. We were shooting crap shots today. So I'm still in my costume from that. Basically got back here and got everything set up, and I'm like, oh, I don't need to put my pants back on. Means I can't find my things I need. All right. Does anyone have any questions actually about stuff from the review? Let's do that right now before we get on to that. I will switch back to the booth, in fact, and then we'll into fall 2019 in a second. Anything you wanted to know about my opinions about fall or 2019 summer, or really just like other things you've been asking, because I've been kind of blowing past a lot of that stuff. If you're interested in things, let's just ask that now so we can get through that. And I also have to roll back to the last person I welcomed, which I believe was Pterodactyl. And I'll also do a... Contingent Cat keeps seeing Etchi show up. What is that? Etchi is the pronunciation of the letter H, and you use H to denote you use H to denote hentai, but we will use Etchi as a way to refer to something that isn't quite hentai, but is definitely like lewd. Like you're either, and it's weird that way, you're either going to see like lots of like fan service, like usually lady fan service, like TNA. Thank you, Jacob on the Run. A lot of tits and ass. Maybe not nude, but maybe like getting real close to that. Maybe like really like big titties and ass, or like lots of underwear shots and stuff like that. Yeah, risque is a good way to think about it. The rare cat. But sometimes it can mean a lot of nudity, but with like, you're in the steam baths, and so steam is coming up and kind of getting in the way. Or maybe you'll see breasts, but they'll have, and you will see nipples and that kind of thing. It's very, it's not straight on, let's get nude, let's censor some genitals and have sex and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. ecchi is kind of that. So it's the gradations. It's like softcore. Softcore porn is still technically hentai, I would say. But yeah. Is there a good isekai anime out currently gotten into the mangas and novels? I don't know. I heard that there's one everyone calls Bakarina, which I hope gets an anime at some point. There's another one that I'm reading that's called Accomplishments of the Duke's Daughter, which I think is really good. It's a little more dramatic. Bakarina is funny as hell. And it definitely is worth reading. Oh yeah, it is getting an anime adaptation soon. You should watch that. That is super fun. Oh my god, she's so dense. She's a lot of fun. Duke's Daughter apparently is a good light novel. That's cool. I'm really liking the manga they're doing for it. So that's been a lot of fun. Right. So anything else? Any other questions specifically? And then I will, as those are coming through, I will look at, I will talk to subs, in fact. Dungeon Master 099, subscribe for 5 months. Thank you. GoAmpDog2 for 55 months. Would you eat fox meal ramen? The foxtail millet ramen? I'd try it at least once. The Maricat with 2,000 bits. Hey, great life advice from Beej. 1,000. Thank you so much. Angry Optimist subscribing for 33 months. Ooh, rare sub. Indeed. Jacob on the Run 1 for 6 months. Welcome. Myriad Truth 01 getting a gift sub from the Maricat, as well as Aleph Red, as well as Lysander Gustav, all getting those gift subs from the Maricat. Thank you, the Maricat. You've been very generous. Cardboard Horde subscribed for 19 months, and that catches us up so far. Anything else? Will there be a VOD? Yeah. If I'm doing this here, it's going to get a VOD, and it's going to end up on the VOD channel, and we were talking about that. Unless we decide to cut it, right now it's business as usual. I don't think we need to cut it because I'm not doing anything that should screw us over, but yeah. Jason Man asks, did you give your thoughts on Tensei Shitara Shlaimu Dattaken? Tensei Shitara Shlaimu Dattaken. I don't think I watched that at all. Because I think I saw it was something I thought about reading it, and then I didn't, and I was just like, yeah. So I did not. Sorry about that. Let's see. A big fan of Silver Spoon. Do you have any recommendations for slice of life anime that is not that has where romance isn't the main focus, but it has decent humor? Lovely Complex. I like Silver Spoon for the fact that they were trying to fit all of the things in. That was there's a bit of romance, but it's really more about the main character trying to do all the things and come of age. And I didn't consider it a romance. Lovely Complex is a really funny show, but also focuses on the romance as well. I'm trying to think of something else that was funny in that way. I'm sure people in the chat will mention stuff, and that'll remind me of stuff. Have I tried Honzuki? Oh no, that was for Snow Wolf. A friend wanted to know if Beej has already mentioned Rise of the Shield Hero. I dropped Rise of the Shield Hero a while back. I believe I have dropped the manga as well. I just kind of got tired. I just was tired. So that's all. Sorry. There's another slime manga I'm reading called Slime Life, which is just super cute. I think it's Slime Life. And I haven't read any of the other slime ones, I don't think. But folks are asking about Promare. I don't actually know what that is. Sorry. Oh yeah, Otakoi is pretty good because it's, there's a relationship there, but it's also kind of not there. Barakamon's a good slice of life, but there's no real romance in that. Americat cheers 100 bits, saying Slime Life rules. 100 bits. Oh yeah. Okay, so if you just straight up non-romantic funny slice of life, No Non Biori is super funny. 4 girls living in 4 elementary school age girls, junior high school, elementary school, all living in the middle of nowhere. So there's like 5 people in their school classroom, just hanging out and having fun. It's super wholesome. It's just so much fun. Hidamari Sketch is kind of fun in its own way. Yes, there's a lot of girls love subtext, obviously, but I mean, this is straight up like, 2 of the girls are going to end up dating after high school, but and then everyone else has kind of been shipped together as well. Are we going to get a Can You Show This Anime to Your Parents at Desert Bus? Has had that bit run its course. I have to put it together. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. So don't hold your breath. Promare is Studio Trigger's new movie. Oh, okay, cool. Have I read Gokshukfudo, Way of the House Husband? I think I got that correct. And yes, I have. I'd really enjoy it as a manga. Let's see here. Flying Witch is a good slice of life as well. That feels really good. I agree. Man, this Lovely Complex was the one that I mentioned. I'm skipping through chat. You guys are talking a lot, which is awesome. Please feel free to keep chatting a lot. Oh, right. There was the anime about the girl who died and came back to life in another world as a spider. I haven't read that yet. So I'm a Spider, So What is what I believe they're calling it. So I'm a Spider, So What? People like Eurocamp. I loved Eurocamp. All right, I am caught up now. Right. Let us go on to fall of 2019. This is the preview. This is stuff that I'm looking at, whether I'm interested or not, and we might add things to this. That all depends. I don't have my actual things that I grabbed yet, so like I have all that on my phone. I'm watching this, I might watch this. So these are all blank because I don't actually have an account or anything. I don't think you even do accounts through AnyChart. Anyway. Not going to watch actors, songs, connections. Probably not, but we'll see. Africa No Salary Man. I am definitely watching this if I can find a copy of it somewhere. Because just look at it. I was reading Hontoni, 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 Hontoni Rayon desu, which is I'm really, 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 really a lion. So I like the idea of just animals as office workers. This sounds great. Ahira no Sora. I don't know. Probably not. Sports anime I usually bounce off really hard. Assassin's Pride. No, I wasn't planning on doing that. The moment I saw noble families have the mana, I was just like, probably not that. So, yeah. It's okay. Oh, based on a mobile game, you say? Okay, this sounded interesting. Babylon sounded interesting to me. Suspense story, so... centered around Zen Seizaki, a prosecutor with the Tokyo District Public Prosecutor's Office. While investigating illegal acts by the certain pharmaceutical company, Seizaki stumbles across a conspiracy over an election for an autonomous new zone established in Western Tokyo. And apparently it goes on from there. And it's based on a novel, and I'm like, oh, this could be good. I could really enjoy this, actually. So, yeah. Asking me, Cuttlefish Man, saying, what if the sports one is another Kuroko no Basuke? I didn't watch that either. So there. Beastars! Yeah, hell yeah, I'm watching this. You're like, oh, what? So Zootopia, Letho Breaker? No. This is Zootopia. And it's fucked up in some ways, too, which is fun. Beastars, I was reading this and damn near bounced off it. But kept reading, and I'm like, I'm into this now. I can't stop this. It's real good. I don't know how far they'll get through it. The main character is Legoshi the wolf. It's Legoshi, I think, is actually how it's supposed to be pronounced. I'm not sure, but at least in the manga they don't give the she. They say Legoshi because I think they want it to be like Bela Lugosi. That's the inspiration for his last name. It's not that he's a vampire; it's just that they like the sound of the name. The author did. They also do another, the mangaka does another comic called Beast Complex, which happens in the same world, but not based around this, which takes place in a high school initially, called Cherryton Academy. And it's super interesting because the world building is super, super interesting. Because carnivores and herbivores understand that the carnivores eat the herbivores, but they have to live together in the same world because they're all sentient. But carnivores have to fight that urge to always want to eat meat. And so, yeah, it's dark in some ways. Lukosi's granddad is so hard. Hell yeah, Snow Wolf. And yeah, it's weird. And it's fun. And it's dark. It's, I think, watch a few episodes. It basically starts with a murder. So, yeah. It starts with a murder at a high school. One student only. And they don't know who did it. And it puts everybody on edge because it's like it was a herbivore that got killed. And so it's like, why? Why did this happen? And who did it? And it was probably a carnivore. But was it? And now everybody at this high school is on edge. And imagine what that would be like if you were at a high school where like one of your classmates got murdered at school, you know, and nobody knew how it happened, is what I'm, you know, that kind of thing. And now everybody suspects each other kind of deal, but you're all trying to go on with your lives. And what does that actually mean? And it's like, oh. And so it is dramatic. And there's little funny moments, but it is a drama. But yeah, I really like this, and I'm going to enjoy watching it. Nope. Sorry, I bounced off My Hero Academia. Would have been about in the first season, but I bounced off it due to the manga. Because after they finished their first... I know it's good. Don't get me wrong. I know it's good. But after they finished the first thing where all the students are enrolled in Hero High School and they all did their like, okay, we're gonna take you to this like obstacle course thing so we can teach you how to do whatever. Hey, great, you're done doing that. Okay, great. You've all done that? Great. Next chapter. Hey, guess what? You're all gonna fight each other in a giant fucking stadium. And I was like, we're done! Hey, that's not what I signed up for. I signed up for a story about a kid who is trying to become a hero and working really hard at that, and a little more slice of life in like high school and stuff. I wasn't signing up for, hey, you just did a big tournament fighter fucking thing? Great. Here's another actual tournament fighter for you to do. And you know what? There's probably gonna be another one after that. And I don't know. I don't know. Because I stopped. So that's fine. Again, I bounced off it. And if you like it, please like it. Ian and Corey, I think, are still watching it, and that's cool. But it ain't my jam. So I've heard it gets really good. I've heard it turns into amazing stuff, and that's okay. Because I'm probably not going to go back and watch it, and there's lots of stuff for me to watch out there. No. Not watching that. But I am watching this, and you know how hard I bounce off of sports anime. But Ian and Corey had said, have you watched Chihaya Furu? And I was like, I have not. This is years ago, by the way. I want to be clear. I said, you should watch some of it. So I watched some of it, and I'm like, I like this show. I like the feel of this show. And yeah, it gets sporty as hell. Like, it definitely turns into the kind of thing you expect from a sports anime. It's about playing Karuta. Karuta is a game where you lay out a bunch of cards on two sides. There's opponents playing each other, and they each have a layout of cards that are all played face up, that all have the second half of a poem on them. And then somebody in the room draws the first half of a poem out of a box, starts reading it, and you have to claim that card that matches it. It is a crazy sport. It's very active. Like it's a very active thing. You play it kneeling down on the ground in front of the other person, and you have to try to slap the other one. It's really just an interesting thing because it was meant to be like a game you would play. Like, it's an old kind of game where you would just play it like I think it's meant to be played a little more laid back, like, you know, shogi or go or something like that, where you sit and you do those things. And this is a little more active, you know, so you're like reaching out and you're slapping stuff, but it definitely has that feel of back in the Heian period, we used to do this as a way of passing the time, right? This is very strong. They very much amp it up to feel like a sports anime. And I think I like it more because of that. I think that's why I like Yakitate Japan. Yakitate Japan definitely feels like it's supposed to be a sport anime about baking bread. And like Dark Morford brings up Keijo with the 8 exclamation marks, the thing about all the girls smacking each other with their hips. That was a hell of a sports show because they leaned into what it was supposed to be, and it's super, like, it's an odd thing, but it was really enjoyable because you're like, I know what this is, and you watch it, you're like, it's exactly what I thought it was, and then there's all this more to it that I really enjoyed as well. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. It's the 3rd season. So I'm sorry, because they're all quite long, and you're going to have to go back and watch the other seasons if you haven't seen this yet. And we've been waiting for this for several years for them to do more of it. So anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that. Chojin koukosei tachi wa isekai. Oh, there's an isekai. Demo yoyu de ikinuku yo desu. I'm watching this because I've been getting into more isekais, and not all of them, but I've been getting into some here and there. Like one that just got the new chapter posted last night, which was like saving 80,000 gold coins for my retirement. And I was like, it's cheat heavy, like so cheat heavy. But it's real goofy and fun. And somebody had recommended this as, well, here's a real weird isekai. And I'm like, it is a really weird isekai. Just having 7 high school students that are incredibly smart in their own thing. And it's like reading an isekai cheat manga on fast forward, because they're like, oh, we have all this knowledge and all this ability, and there's 7 of us, so let's just, and they just go. Let's start doing what we can, like, because first it's like, let's try to like low profile so we don't attract whatever. What? Those people are being assholes. Well, let's take over their whole goddamn country. So yeah, so this, I can't remember what the actual translation of it is, but it's, yeah, these 7 high school students who are incredibly smart, and I think it's super fun. They don't get, and to be clear, they don't get any special powers because they come to this isekai, because they come to the other world. They're just the best that they are high school wise. They're like the politician kid, the kid in front with the silver hair. He's Prime Minister of Japan, and he's like 16 years old. It knows what it is. It's crazy. It's a lot of fun. The girl who's in the red kerchief down in the corner, she's this amazing inventor. She's like a genius inventor. And in order for her not to be like hunted down by other like factions of other part in the world, she lives in a fucking space station that she invented herself so that she doesn't get like stolen away by anyone to build amazing doomsday devices for them. It's nuts. It's so good. So yeah, I love that. I'm watching that because I want to see how they adapt the manga. I don't know how far they'll get, but I'm hoping they go real fast. I'm hoping it just goes, so we'll see how that goes. What was the name of that isekai anime? The one I was just talking about? Chojin koukosei tachi wa isekai demo yoyu de ikinuku yo desu. You can see all these if you go to anychart.net. And follow along with me if you want. We're on 2019 fall. 2019 fall. Yeah. Ha. Chubyo Gekihatsu Boy. No. I didn't think this is going to be the thing for me. So, yeah. Fairy Gone 2. Didn't watch the first one. Fate Grand Order. I'm not watching the Fate series. Hata Age Kemono Michi. Looked real dumb. Just because I was like, well, this looks like something I don't want to watch. Let's read the story. Let's all read the story, shall we? The story follows masked wrestler Genzo Shibata, who likes all kinds of animals and creatures. One day he is summoned to another world where a princess asks him to help kill magical beasts, but he gets mad and puts her in a German suplex. Sold! Sold! Oh yeah, I'm watching this! Instead he begins life as a pet shop owner in another world. Oh, you didn't even have to say any more than that. But you did, you nailed it. I hope it's not trash. Like, I hope it's not the bad trash. I hope it's the good trash. And I can't wait to see this. Because it's probably going to be real dumb. So, looking forward to it. Maybe we bounce off it. Maybe I come back later and be like, oh no, this was, but we'll see. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm down for whatever this is going to be. There's all, like, you look at the girls in here and it's like, oh, look, you know, there's girls. They're all different personalities. You can tell because they all are dressed in different ways. Like, there's one who doesn't have any, like, half of her shirt's missing. There's the one who's missing the other half of her shirt. So it's like, and there's one who's missing the very middle bit of her shirt. I'm just like, great. I know what this is going to be. Whatever. It's fine. It doesn't say ecchi or lewd or whatever. So I'm like, all right, it's going to be fine. We're watching Hataage Kemonomichi. And if I can get access to it, I'm watching High Score Girl 2. Second season of High Score Girl. This is High Score Girl. God damn. I grew up in the 90s, right? I was born in 1979. That makes me 40 years old. So now you know whether you should be listening to me or not. But I was this age during this time, practically. Like, I was just in the right era, right? And he was in Japan where all of that stuff was, like, when Street Fighter 2 was coming out and all those kind of things, and he was a little younger than me at those times. It's just like, all of that was happening then, and we weren't getting it over here till, like a year or two or three later kind of deal. But, you know, it was the acceleration and compression of everything coming from that era. And this is like laser focused on me, but I think it's super good for anybody else who's like, if you are 30 years old this year, I think you still would love this. If you love the sense of the retro era and being like, what was the arcade culture back in Japan at that time, and what was it like to do like home gaming, like it's like, oh, everybody, you know, like oh Christ, I forgot his name, Haruto? Anyway, he had a PC Engine. Nobody had a goddamn PC Engine or TurboGrafx 16 that I knew, right? Like, one guy I think maybe did. He had one of those, but then like a Super Famicom as well, but then like he was able to borrow a Saturn to play at one point and return that, like those kind of things. And it's like, it's so, it's really, it's nostalgic for a place I didn't live, but a time I sure lived in. And it's neat to see what that was like at that time in that era, you know, like smuggling your Game Boy in to play stuff like that. And this guy, you know, I swear it's Haruto. He is very much the, you know, king gamer. He's very much like, I'm all about playing games, and he knows so much. And it's hard. It is a Netflix license. High Score Girl is a Netflix license, which means it's hard to get a chance to watch it over here, but you still can if you are looking, if you happen to win episodes at a convention. Anyway, the one quibble I would have had with it is that Ono, the purple dressed, red be-ribboned girl that's above him, who is just a viper at any sort of video game. She's so good. And she's an Ojo-sama, right? So anyway, Ono is, I don't want to say like effectively mute, but she doesn't like to talk. She never says words. Like, she never wants to talk about things or say things out loud. She very rarely talks, which makes it a weird watch because he's constantly talking and saying things and having half of a conversation, and she never says a word, and he's just kind of like filling in by watching what she's doing and mostly understanding her feelings and kind of sometimes not, and trying to understand her feelings, because it's also a story about a boy trying to understand whether he likes a girl or not, that kind of thing. And as Lanthus says, she's still super expressive, and even in the manga she's very expressive. And I was like, I thought this is going to be a thing where it's like, you know, the main female character says nothing the entire time, but she's still there and she still does a lot. It just is weird that they don't need a voice actor that often for her, but it's a really good show. I really like it. And I love the fact that everyone is not drawn like these people. I love the fact that all the characters, you know, like he's drawn with this like weird fucked up teeth, and everyone doesn't have like massive anime eyes and stuff, but like all of the faces are just kind of like, they're just something different. They're not the same kind of cookie cutter anime as you understand it thing. And I think it adds more to who they are as characters, that they're not all drawn the same way. I like that they're all also drawn in ways that make them feel a little more like these are real people. They're not meant to be pinups. And it's odd that, I know you like beans and potato faces, and it's not like, not as bad as like Leiji Matsumoto, but yeah, they aren't meant to be like the moe. They're not a moe blob, but they're not the moe moe. And I don't know, I damn near bounced off the manga because of the art style. I was like, I don't know if I like this or not, but as I started reading it, I'm like, I'm liking this. And then as I kept reading it, I'm like, I love this. This is really a lot of fun and really very interesting. So I am watching High Score Girl, the second season. All right, let's see here. Here it comes. Honzuki no Gekkou Kujo. Shisho ni naru tame ni wa shudan wo, or rather, shudan o eranderama, eranderaremasen. Honzuki no Gekkou Kujo. This is a series, apparently. Ascendance of a Bookworm. This is a very interesting show because it's about a woman who is like 22 and she gets killed in like the first few pages of the manga. It's whatever it is. She's reborn as a child into a world that's like another isekai, and she's like 5 years old, and she has an illness that prevents her from doing a lot of stuff. So she's confined to bed for a little while, and I'm watching this because I'm reading this, and it has multiple series. Apparently, I saw this show up on Manga Dex that they're like part 2 and a part 3 that like grows. But what she wants is books, and you can't get books because books are incredibly expensive. They don't have movable type and stuff, it seems, and paper's not a normal thing that you can get. And she's like, well, then I need to come up with ways so I can have a book. I just want a book. Give me a book. I will, God damn it, I'll make a book. And she is so driven to try to make books. But when she tries to, like, express herself and do those things, she gets really tired, and it really wears her out. And so she's trying to find people to help her so she can do anything that is like a book, that is like writing on something or whatever. And as an isekai goes, her biggest cheat is that she has all of her knowledge from when she was in her like mid-20s, working as a university librarian. But she's 5 years old and can barely move around without help, without being carried. And she wants this thing so bad that's in her head, and she doesn't know how to make it come out because she doesn't. If I got zapped into a thing and it's like, make paper, I'd be like, I don't know, go find a tree and some stuff and then grind it up and then like cook it for a long time until all the color leaves it, and then like I'm gonna need a silk screen. What's that? Fuck. Okay. Do I need to learn how to make silk and then make a screen? How would they have done? Like, it's that kind of thing. And so she's trying to remember how this stuff comes across with completely different kind of like flora where she lives, and completely different like what she can actually do. And it's like she has no ability to do things because she's so weak, but she's finding people who can help, and the manga's just really nice. And I'm like, I'd love to be able to show this to Heather and hope that she would like it as well. Wicker Knight. It's basically the opposite of the nuclear power plant isekai from earlier. The 7 students, yeah, she is not that. She's not the smartest there is. She happens to have a broad base of knowledge from like liking to read books, but it's not a deep base of knowledge, right? We talk about in marketing, they talk about depth versus breadth, where it's like when you're marketing something, you can talk about breadth, the width of your market, but you also want to talk about the depth of your market. How deep into one specific market do you want to go? And so that's this kind of thing, the depth and the breadth of your knowledge. So anyway, that was from when I did marketing as well in university. So I am watching this. I absolutely am, because I'm reading it and it's good, and I'm going to watch it, and if they keep making it, then great, and if they don't, we'll just keep reading it, and I'm looking forward to the point where everything starts to get a little bit better and she starts to actually do more things. And it's fascinating to watch what she can do. So yeah, I'm on board. Hoshiai no Sora. Or I guess I have to read the thing again, since we're saying what we was just talking about. It's talking about Honzuki no Gekkokujo Shisho ni naru tame ni wa shudan o eranderaremasen. All right, let's talk about Hoshiai no Sora. I'm not watching this. I mean, I'm not. Another sports drama, coming of age story, boys. Nah, I don't think it's mine. Sorry. Hokago Saikodo Club. I read like 2 chapters of this. I thought for sure this was like more people were going to translate this. So when I saw this, I'm like, is this really? And it is. They form an after-school board game club, and they play German board games and all sorts of board games. And I was like, oh, I'm watching this because why not? This has been out. I read a couple chapters of this, I think, like 3 or 4 years ago. So this is, I think, has kind of been just slowly gestating as a thing to make. But yeah, I love the idea. It's AFK the anime is what it is, and I can't wait to watch it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, it's going to be a thing. Like, as you can see, one day after school, I and Miki follow the committee president, Midori, to a specialty board game store, the Dice Club. Aha, okay, great. So, one person who's really into this, and of course, I remember in the manga, one thing they mention is that it's like, you can't, you can't go out after school and go and do things. You can't go shopping after school. So some schools have that. You can't have a part-time job, or you can't like go out and like go shopping. You have to like go home in your uniform. If you want to go out after that, you could not be in your uniform, but you're not supposed to. You're supposed to go home, and you're supposed to do chores, and you're supposed to do your homework, and you're never supposed to do anything fun, and that's just how things are. So this is the thing where like we can't get caught in this place. Also, what is this place? And it turns out it's because the president really likes board games, and so they start doing this. So yeah, I'm really impressed. I can't wait. Kodra22 subscribed for 26 months, and Moladia cheered with 100 bits saying, well pronounced. You did it, Beej. Thank you. I only had to practice it 5 or 6 times, but that's how it is sometimes with different languages. So Hokago, after school, Saikodo Club. Saikodo means something, and club means club. All right, moving on. Kabukicho Sherlock. Just watching it. I mean, it said mystery, and I was like, well, we'll see. And then I saw comedy. I'm like, perfect. Yes, okay. As long as it's a little lighthearted, I won't have a problem with it. The east side of Shinjuku Ward. This is an original story, too. In the center of this chaotic neighborhood, the neon-lit Kabukicho district is expanding. Where light shines, there is also deep shadows. The curtain rises on this night stage where bizarre murders occurred. Is this suspense? No? Comedy? An indistinguishable drama is about to begin. So I'm like, I'll just do it. Oh, Saikodo's dice. Awesome. I've learned a thing. So, yeah. Kabukicho Sherlock. I am watching this. I don't know anything about what this is going to be about. Looks like younger people. Maybe looks like a couple college-age kids as well. So, I'm down. And it's all focused on Kabukicho, which I think will be interesting too. So, yeah. Cool to see how that all comes together. Kaiju Step 1 Dabata, which is... I don't think I'm going to have an opportunity to watch this, and because I didn't watch any Ultraman, this doesn't mean anything to me, so I probably won't care. Kandagawa Jet Girls. Here's the story. Kadokawa, Marvelous, and Egg Firm announced on Friday that they are developing a new project titled Kandagawa Jet Girls. Sports! Moving on. I'm just going to read this because it's fun. Keishicho Tokumubu Tokushu Kyoakuhan Taisaku Shitsu Dai 7 Kai Tokunana. I don't know. Not sure yet. Set in a different Tokyo and a different world than ours, the story follows Tokunana, a unit of assembled misfits in the Metropolitan Police Department. Oh, seems kind of interesting. Tokunana battles 9 Huh? An organization committing crimes in their zealous worship of the dragons that once roamed the world. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. So I probably won't. Kono Ototomare is getting a second cour. Very exciting. I am watching that. We thought the end of the first cour was like, oh, that ended. Kind of a weird place to end. But maybe they'll do another cour? Hopefully. But if they ended it there, I guess that's fine too. Here's our second cour. This is Koto Club. This is about the 7 kids who come together to play Koto. It is fantasy as hell. It is definitely okay. I say it's fantasy as hell. It's what's the best way to put this? We're gonna work hard and through effort we're gonna make this thing happen. But it's also a music show, but there's lots of drama because it is a club, and there's people in the club who are very good at a thing. And so good, in fact, that they're damn near professional, and they've upset their parents, who are the head of the household, because they won't be doing their no theater. I mean, playing the koto anymore. The kind of things you've seen before, but still kind of nice, kind of fun. The koto is interesting to watch and listen to, and I like music. And yeah, I liked the first one. I liked the first cour. I've been reading the manga. Corey introduced me to this and was like, you might like this. And I started reading. I'm like, I do like this. And then I was like, I don't like this. No, I'm bouncing off this. No, I don't like whatever. And then more chapters came out and I was like, I'll read a little bit more. Oh, okay, it starts to feel... I actually like the points where it's not... I like the points where they focus on themselves and trying to get better and trying to become a better team. And I don't like the parts where they go listen to other players and encounter jackasses from other teams just so they can set up teams, clubs, just so they can set up some sort of conflict. I'm like, I want more Beck. That's all I want. I want more Beck. I don't know why everything has to be a club with a showdown with another club that forces them to get better. Why can't it be, I'm just trying to get better at playing music so I can be better at playing music? I don't have to be better than someone else. I just want to be better at what I'm doing. That's a hard thing, and I think maybe as I get older, that's the issue that I run into as well. Is it's like, I just want everyone to just kind of get along, you know? There's so many of you that are on the internet that are out there watching us, and then when I'm done here, might go watch something else. And I'm like, I'm glad I have you as viewers. I'm glad we have you as subscribers, and I'm glad that you guys are putting money into the Patreon and into in buying merch from us and on the YouTube, commenting at YouTube, but being in the Discord and all that kind of stuff. I guess I could full screen. That's actually not a bad idea. That's probably a little nicer, in fact. And there's room for a lot of people to be doing the kind of thing that we're doing here, and it's nice when they do that, and I'm glad more people are able to do that. And sometimes it scares me, because I'm like, what if somebody comes along and starts doing what we're doing better than we're doing it, and then takes away all of our viewers? It's like, I guess then we get a new job. That's what happens. But so far that hasn't happened. People have not left en masse. People still like what we do, and we're even attracting more and more people. And it's like, all you can do is try to make the best stuff you can do, and try to be great about it, and try to do as much more good as you can for people. And that's the thing. It's like, are we doing something that somebody else could copy? Maybe. Could they copy who we are? I don't think you can. I don't think you could copy who we are. I think you can copy what we do, but you'd never be able to copy who we are. I'm confident about that. And so then when I look at something like this, I'm like, I just want you to be good at who you are. When I go watch somebody play the koto, I've seen 2 or 3 performances. I don't really care if this person has won a dozen national championships or has only ever made it to regionals. they play beautifully, and it's really lovely to listen to. It's great when somebody does something like Dale's going to do that opera soon, and it's like we're doing an opera by Puccini where the acts were always meant to be performed like people would always do them separately, and they never perform them together. And it's so great that it's like we're going to get a chance to do that. We're going to perform all of these things together on one night. It's never been done before, at least in Western Canada it hasn't, but there's been very few places that it has been done, and he's very proud of that fact. And it's like, that's great. That's what I want. I love that you're doing a unique and interesting thing. So yeah, that's just like, that feels really cool to me that he's going to get to, he's going to be singing in an opera and being a part of this thing that's historic in its own way. And it's like, and it doesn't have to be the very best in the world. It's going to be great. And it's going to be really well done because people are going to be really committed to making it happen in a very good way. And it's like, so what if it doesn't win, the 2019 Opera Awards, wherever the hell those are? Because it doesn't have to. It's just going to be really good because people who are very good at what they do are going to be involved in doing it. And that's what I want a lot of times out of these kind of things, especially when it's arts. I want you to be really good at the thing that you do, and I don't give a shit if you win or not. And it's nice when you get set up to win, but sometimes it doesn't matter to me whether you win or not. It just matters that you're actually becoming better at doing the thing that you're doing, and everyone's enjoying the fact that you're getting good at what you're doing as well. So, yeah. I want to thank Thane1607 for subscribing for 14 months. 14 months, and I get a Beej talking about anime. I don't get anime anymore. Where are the space cowboys or the skyscraper tall meat mechs that are also your mum? They keep remaking those movies. All right, moving on from Kono Oto Tomare. Core 2. Kono yusha ga ore tue kuse ni shincho sugiru. I will be watching this. It's an isekai. It's a video game world type isekai thing, but it's not a video game. It's just the world has the video game thing where you can see stats and shit, which always bothers me. But I like the idea because the guy who gets summoned is very good at what he does. Don't get me wrong. He's extremely good at who he is, at doing all that kind of stuff. But he's also very, very, very cautious. And the way they describe it here is like, the hero Sei is exceptional in every way, but he's incredibly cautious to the point of buying 3 sets of armor, one to wear, a spare, and then a spare for the spare, and going full power against weak slimes just in case. And so it's really funny to watch. It's a comedy. It definitely is a comedy. They don't even really show the guy in the artwork, which is the weird thing. Like, I can go over here. They don't even get rid of the thing. He's down here in the corner, I think. They just show all the cleavage. But that's the goddess there who summons him. And her whole thing is like, you're really strong. Would you fight them? And it's like, no, I got to get stronger. So you told me that in this back room where we are right now, time is essentially stopped. And he's like, yeah. Or she's like, yeah, when you're up here in the clouds with me, time is not passing. And he's like, cool, I'm going to go into that room and train for a bit. And he goes in the room and he trains until he's level 99 and and basically min-maxes himself and just grinds so hard through training so he can be like, okay, now let's go fight a slime. I'm ready to do it. So it's funny to watch the overcompensation. And I hope it's going to be good, at least for the season that it's running for, it looks like. I hope it's going to be good. Taichani subscribed for 57 months. Where is my Patlabor? That's what we need. You're damn right, Taichani. I would love more, especially the movie type Patlabor. I mean, I'd love to have another series like the funny type Patlabor again, but I also would like another movie. All right. I think it's going to be really funny. Kono yusha ga ore tue kuse ni shincho sugiru. I don't know if the tue is supposed to mean something, but anyway. Mairimashita Iruma-kun. Apparently a lot of people really like the manga for this. The idea didn't grab me, so I haven't read it. I don't think I'm going to watch it. I hope you enjoy it. If I hear from people that it's really, really good, I'm probably maybe come into that. Yeah, here, we have 2 people already. I love this manga. I read it. It was not my thing. There you go. So, yeah, I already kind of bounced off the manga. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. We'll see what happens. Nanatsu no Taizai. Oh, it's the 3rd season, of course. So I'm not going to watch that. No Guns Life. I was starting reading this because I looked at the thing. I'm like, oh, there's like 2 people down below, whatever. Okay, there's a mecha looking dude. And I'm like, okay. After the war, there are many extends in the city, people whose bodies were modified to make them into dangerous weapons. Inui Juzo was one of them, and he has no memories of his life and body before his head was transformed into a gun. And then I was like, what? What? Strangely enough, his head gun is designed so that only someone behind him can pull the trigger. Okay. Juzo makes a living by taking on cases involving extends in the city, and he is assisted by Mary, an intelligent young woman he has taken under his protection. And it's like, well, it's a comedy. But it isn't. It's a drama. And I'm like, but it's a comedy. But it's not. It's a drama. And I'm like, do they play it straight? I mean, it's Madhouse. Like, what do they do? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to watch this or not. It sounds weird. I don't think it's going to be mine. I don't think it's going to be a thing that I watch. I might get an episode of it, maybe just to see what it is, but I'm kind of... It's no weirder than Dodo Hedoro. I haven't read Dodo Hedoro. Super noir style, apparently, Ancient Spark says. Oh, that could be kind of neat then. I don't know. It's super hard for me. I was just like... All right, the Maricat cheering with 100 bits. If we are going to beg for old anime to come back, I'm tossing in my bits for Kimagure Orange Road. Oh, yeah. I tried watching KOR a long time ago, and then I tried watching it recently, and both times I couldn't... I don't know why. I just couldn't... It's the same thing with Meizan Ikoku. I tried watching it, and it's like... I think it's because every copy I have is like... It looks like... third generation VHS, even though that I know it's not. It's probably like rips from a DVD, but it's just so old that there's so much grain and so much color smearing that I'm just like, I just can't deal with it for some reason. It's so hard and not as interesting to me for some reason. Winsterton subscribed for 18 months. Oh, late night stream. Hello there, Beej. Hello there, Winsterton. All right, let's move on. Ore wa tsuki nano wa omae dake kayo. I think I just was like, no. I looked at it. I looked at light novel, and I was like, okay. I don't... I was just like, question, what would you do if a girl you're interested in would confess to you? I'd probably say yes, I guess. On top of that, what if there was another girl as well? I'd be very confused by that. A cool upperclassman adored by the whole school and your cheerful, energetic childhood friend. I bet you would be over the moon. Thing is, what if there was an unexpected problem about the contents of that confession? Well, what's the problem? I don't... You said nothing other than they both confess to you, and one of them's your childhood friend, and the other one's a cool upperclassman who's adored by everybody, and you don't say whether or not that's you or not. But also, it's a girl you're interested in confessing to you, so shouldn't you say a thing? And it's like, no, you didn't sell it hard enough. You should have sold it harder, but you didn't. So I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. James K 902 subscribing for 22 months. Welcome, James K. So, anyway. Pet. A supernatural story. Psychic suspense. Infiltrating people's minds, manipulating memories. This probably isn't going to be as fun as when they do it in Machikado Mazoku, so probably going to bounce off this. If you watch The Demon Girl Next Door, Machikado Mazoku, one of the demon powers that Shamiko has is that she can invade people's minds during their dreams. Get to that later in the show. So don't hold your breath for it, but it's fun. Anyway, probably not going to watch Pet. Phantasy Star Online 2, never played it. Not really interested in the thing. Psycho-Pass 3, never watched Psycho-Pass. Radiant 2, didn't watch Radiant. Rifle is Beautiful. I was this close. Because I was like, oh, it's one of those cute girls do unusual things. And just no, I didn't. Yeah, that's actually literally the first thing I thought was Maricat was NRA the anime is what I thought when I saw this. And I'm like, I know that in Japan gun culture is very different, but it is also super otaku focused. It is incredibly otaku focused. And so I was just like, I don't know if this was 10 years ago, I'd probably watch it. And I know it's sport shooting, and I know that's a thing. I don't think let's get my feeling on guns out there. I think guns are incredibly interesting. Firearms are a very intricate instrument to do something in a certain way and fulfill certain obligations of the instrument itself. For example, the fact that you can fit, is it 13 or 14 rounds into a handheld pistol is it's amazing to me that it's like you can fit all that in a thing. You can make this stuff happen, and I'm like, that's and you can, and they're fairly big, and they have a lot of firepower, and they transfer a lot of kinetic energy and like that kind of thing. And it's like, I'm like, that's amazing. You can put something together like that and make it fire over and over and over again, causing small explosions above your hand over and over and over again, to the point where, and you can do that multiple times. And yes, you have to stop and maintain it, but it's also like you can do that multiple times. Like if I set off an explosion in like near my hand, I would assume that that would work like once, kind of deal, right? But it's like these things are engineered to work in a certain way, and people who like 3D print firearms is an amazing thing. It's like you can actually make a thing like that. And I know the danger behind that, but just like let's just concentrate on the intricacy of the engineering is what I'm talking about. And then what you can do with all sorts of other firearms as well, and all the other stuff you can do. And I'm like, this is incredibly interesting. But we are in a very unfortunate political moment right now. And the climate in North America and in Europe, I guess in Western culture regarding guns has been, it's very fraught. And I think a gun is interesting, and I don't want one in my house. I think a gun is interesting, and I don't want to own one. I think a gun is interesting, and I would like to go shooting again, because I haven't shot since I was in Scouts, and I would shoot 22 rifle, like 22 caliber rifle. I would have loved to have done that thing that they did when they went down to Vegas and they safely shot firearms. I was like, all of that stuff, you know? I don't want them near me. They're terrifying. Because things that are that good at doing the thing that they do, it's, you know, it's like driving cars as well. It's like cars also kill a lot of people too. And cars, I keep forgetting I need to treat my car with more respect and being behind the wheel with more respect. And I don't, and I need to get better at that. But yeah, it's, it feels like this is the wrong time to be enjoying I don't want to watch this, because I don't think it's a good idea to be luxuriating in this when it's like it is right now in the real world. And I know it's like, this is not the real world. It's like, yeah, but a lot of what we consume and a lot of what we enjoy also says a lot about us as a culture. And if I don't want to participate in that side of the culture, I don't want to participate in this. And I know that sport shooting is a very different thing, but the title is Rifle is Beautiful. And there are going to be people lobbying hard behind this in the weeb community on the side of, yeah, rifle is beautiful. That's going to be a lot of that kind of stuff happening. And I'm just like, this is not a great time for this. And I'm just like, so yeah. You know, my politics includes my entertainment. It kind of has to. And I think if you watch it, I don't think that says anything bad about you as a person. I want to be clear on that too. Please go watch it. So, oh, and, well, yeah, okay. Tentec Priest says, Rifle is Beautiful is a really good pun name. In English, it really is a really good pun name. So, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna move on. And if you guys enjoy it and it was really fun and was really interesting, feel free to say so. I mean, I watched a show about that glorifies horse racing, where all of the horses were young women who were horse girls. And I don't know if I think much about horse racing, but I did watch that anime, didn't I? So there's that too. Uma Musume, Pretty Derby. That was the name of the show. Yeah. If you've not seen it, it's It's a hell of a trip. It's real weird. Shinchuka Ichiban. Let's move on. I don't know, it's an interesting idea. You know, like it's like, oh, it's something focused in like another country. You know, it's 19th century China, Qing Dynasty, emperors weakened during the country was close to chaos. The era of the cooking wars. Oh, I kind of didn't want to watch another cooking anime though. I don't know why. And also, I mean, it's a comedy, so I was like, all right, like. And also, though, it's really, really long. And I was like, okay, oh, this might be a thing. And then they chefs compete with each other in a game, respect, and even power. And then I was like, oh, and then the death of whatever. Mao becomes a super chef. Okay, master chef. I'm like, okay, no, that's fine. You make names and you make ranks and you do all these things. And I'm just like, I don't know. So yeah. Shokugeki no Soma. Oh yeah, I guess since the chat is mentioning Uma Musume, I mean the idea is it was based on a mobile game first, right? So, but it was based on a mobile game, and all of the horses were based on real horses. And when you start finding out about what happened to the real horses, it's also kind of interesting to find out that one of the horses, who's really well known in the show, fuck it, I mean, spoilers. Silent Suzuka. Is running a race in the show, and she trips and hurts herself, and she's taken out. She's not there anymore. Like they basically take her out, and she's like they go visit her hospital, and she's not doing so well, kind of deal. And she's like, I'm going to, and she's like, I'll run again, kind of deal, that kind of thing. Silent Suzuka, who when she fell during that race, they had to put her down. You don't do that in the Horse Girl anime, but you do the thing where she falls in the race, and it's kind of like, oh my god. So. It's really interesting seeing that. But yeah, I mean, definitely, okay, so back to Shinchuka Ichiban, I definitely got shades of Yakitate Japan, and I was like, sure, but I've already seen Yakitate Japan. I don't know if unless something is really, really good, I don't know if I want to watch more of it. So anyway. Shokugeki no Soma, 4 seasons of Food Wars, everybody. I know a lot of you like it, so please enjoy it. Stand My Hero's Piece of Truth, based on the mobile game of the same name. Cool. Sword Art Online. Val Love. Right. I was like, I wasn't going to watch this for some reason. I mean, maybe it was because of the half-nude girl. Why was I going to watch it? Oh, right. When the god Odin taps him to save the world alongside 9 Valkyries, fueled by intimacy. So, let's move on. Watashi no ryoku wa heikinshi de te itta yo ne. Oh, right. Didn't I ask for my abilities to be made average in my next life? I believe that's what the name of this is. No, it's another isekai. Someone dies in the real world in Japan and gets brought over to this, and apparently she wanted to have average abilities in her next life because it's like, oh, I'm going to be reincarnated. And I haven't read the manga. I'm going to assume how it goes is she's like, oh, it's an isekai format thing. Cool. I don't want to have special abilities because I don't want to have an interesting life. I just want average abilities so that I don't have to go do anything dangerous. I just want to live a normal life. I wasn't going to read the manga. And now I'm seeing people, though, posting in here. It's like, oh, this one, yes. Oh, this one's funny, like that kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, maybe that might be fun. Maybe that might be interesting. All right, so I'll watch an episode of it probably. I'll add that to my list, I think. I should maybe do that before I forget. Hang on. Trying to add things to my lists. And the app I've been using, I don't like at all. It's terrible, in fact, but there are no better options. Did I add this? I did add that. Is this that one's been added? That one's been added. I'll add this just so I can watch the first episode of this because it does seem odd. And what was this again? Watashi no ryoku. The hardest part about this is that trying to use this to also look up whatever things are going to be called. Right, yes, it's not in here. Good job, guys. You make a great app. Not going to say who. I'm not here to crap on anybody, but yeah, don't like that app. Should change to something else. If AnyDB or MyAnimeList had their API sorted out, or AnyDB had an actual app I could use, I'd probably be using those instead. All right, so probably going to watch that. ZX Code Reunion. No. Zoids wasn't watching. Okay, here we go. Oh, I don't know what this is, and I wasn't watching the originals. I watched 2 episodes of Bananya, and that was not my thing. Taiko no Nichijou. I thought this was interesting, but then also was like, I don't know about that. Not going to do that. The Meerkat, yeah, I'm using an iPhone, so yeah. I don't have... Jesus. Hello, boobs. The Tenka Hyakken franchise centers around the Mitsurugi, maidens who are physical incarnations of ancient swords. Oh, this is Girlfriend Dungeon. They have pledged to live peaceful lives after the era of warfare, but now return to battle to fight a new foe has arisen during an alternate version of the Meiji era, 300 years after the battle. 300 years after the Battle of Sekigahara? There wasn't that much space between that and the other Meiji era. What? All right, whatever. So, no. Though it is a video game, so... Urashima Sakata-sen no Nichijou. The anime centers on the members of the real world 4-member male vocal unit. Urashima Sakata-sen, which is Uratanuki, Shima, Tonari no Sakata, and Senra. They're all appearing in the shorts as high school students. I feel like I'd have to care about who the male vocal unit was. So, yeah. Anyway. Right. Dr. Stone's still rolling. I will be watching more Dr. Stone, having a lot of fun with that. And when it's over, I will be probably reading the rest of the manga, unless they decide to keep making more of this. We'll see. I mean, that's the thing. This is Shonen Jump, I'm pretty sure, wasn't it? And if it is, then this feels like this is like the next major pillar, like to go with, I think, My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero Academia. That's also Shonen Jump as well? I don't know, actually. Could be Shonen Sunday. I don't really track what these show up in, so... Anyway, JC Maxwell, subscribing for 14 months. Welcome back, JC. Yeah, they want to have another One Piece. They want to have another one of these, like, long-running things that can... I mean, Dr. Stone could technically go on for a very long time, because it doesn't have to be searching for a thing, like it doesn't have to be, I'm looking for the One Piece and having adventures. This can literally be, I'm looking to upgrade my science to the next level constantly, so... Anyway. Of course, I'm not... we dropped Enen no Shobotai, and I didn't watch Vinland Saga. And let's keep moving on. Black Fox sounded interesting as a movie, but, I mean, movies are something I don't come across that often, so... Anyway. I just love this, though. Driven into a corner. What would you do to overcome this crisis? Rip darkness to pieces and become black. Cool. I don't know what that means at all, but cool. And then, Boku Hero Academia. Bokura no Nano Kakan Senso. Something about some sort of war. Oh, mystery story and social satire. Weird. All right. That could be... yeah. Well, hopefully they nail it. Could be interesting. There's Pretty Cure. Getting another thing. Oh, right. Shinkalion's getting their own Gekijoban. So if you watch Shinkalion, which I dare say has way better transforming train mecha than the frickin' Tokyuja. But yeah, anyway. I guess this is the other film, the one that focuses on the Free Earth Alliance. And then it's probably maybe something coming together for all of them. Who knows? Human Lost. Oh, right. I was like, huh? And then I saw this. Osamu Dazai's No Longer Human novel. And I was like, oh. Dazai wrote some like dark stuff, apparently. I have no idea if it's going to be any good or not. And I won't know if I'll watch it or not. Kept going through this. Just they are led by a girl on their quest to win the Motemen Koshien, or Handsome Men at Koshien contest. I'm like, but it's a music thing? Whatever. Kono sekai no sarari kutsumo no katasumi ni. Oh, hey. Neat. Don't know if I'll watch that. Lupin the Third, the First. This is, I think, the weird CG one as well. Probably not gonna make a point of watching it, but we'll see what happens. Sainai Hiroin no Sodate Kata Fine. I have not watched the original. Clouds Gather. Yeah. No, don't want that. About Sumiko Gorashi. No, probably not going to watch that. And the OVAs and ONAs. Just a bunch of... Oh yeah, Frag Time. I've read the manga for Frag Time. I will probably try to watch the thing. This is a very Yuri show, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's about a girl who can stop time for 3 minutes a day, and she can just walk around and do stuff. And I'm just like, and she just decides to look at the most beautiful girls in the class's panties. That classmate is just immune to that. She's immune to that power, and it's not really clear as to why, I think, in the beginning. And yeah, I'm just kind of like, okay, that's going to be, okay, I don't remember them doing crime because they can only stop time for 3 minutes a day. But I do remember that Moritani, the one with the power, starts taking an awful lot of instruction from Murakami, the one who caught her looking at her panties. Started giving instruction to be like, you can do this for 3 minutes a day. I have some things I want to try doing. And so basically to be like, so I don't reveal your secret and the terrible thing you did to everybody. I have some things that I'm going to kind of, blackmail you into doing. And I don't know if it's particularly all lewd stuff. I think it's just like, I want to go do some things. But the focus of the thing is more, I think the fact is that it's supposed to be like very light, like Yuri, and that Moritani is doing all these things also because it's the first time she's met anybody who can just live in this, what they call a fragment time, to live in, like, they were calling it flag time at one point. So I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? But I guess frag time because it's a fragment time. It's like living in this weird moment with her, and it's like I get to actually spend time with this person, and that's very important to me. And so, but why is it that the idol can actually, be like, isn't affected by the thing? And I'm not sure why, but yeah, thought it was interesting. And I don't know how it ended. I don't remember. So maybe if this is a movie, I'll get a chance to find out. Gundam Build Divers, Hung Yakusei Million Arthur Special. It's part of the thing. Kengan Asha is getting a thing. There's all VAs. That's right. Oh, Frag Time might not be a full length thing. It might only be like 3. It might only be like 2 or 3. Anyway, Levius. This is only an OVA. I could see maybe watching this, but it's mechanical boxing, and I'm like, Mini Yuri. I liked Yuri, but I also haven't read it in a while, so probably won't watch that. Mugen no Junin. I like the look of this. So it's a new adaptation of Mugen no Junin. Manji is an immortal swordsman who has been cursed with eternal life. He has grown tired of living with all the death he has created. He has no skills other than those of killing. Thus he forms a plan to regain his mortality. He shall kill 100 evil men for each good one he has killed. The old witch who afflicted Manji with immortality agrees to Manji's proposition, and Manji is set on his path to kill 1,000 evil men. On his journey, he meets a young girl, Rin, who has her own vengeance to seek against the sword school whose members slaughtered Rin's family. Rin and Manji journey together, each hoping to find some kind of peace. In their way are many varied enemies. Rin and Manji are almost constantly under attack and must learn to live their lives, avoiding being consumed by revenge. And yet they have to kill 1,000 people, and they'll do all this revenge stuff. It kind of felt a little Ninja Scroll to me, actually. Yeah. Oh, this is Blade of the Immortal. Oh, okay. I was like, why does this sound familiar? This is Blade of the Immortal. Okay. Cool. Well, they're doing 24 episodes of what sounds like an OVA. Weirdly, but there you go. The weird thing, of course, is yeah, what's our threshold for evil men? Thraxamore says. And it's like, yeah, that's the point. When you kill 100 people and you're like, oh, well, I got to kill a 100 evil men for each good one I killed. It's like, what if you killed some evil men as part of that, what you think were the good one? So now you have to kill 1,000 evil men. But then what if you kill a good person who you only think is evil? Why is this all through your eyes only, right? That kind of thing. Is it gonna be one of those things where Manji gets like, it's like, oh, I see like a quest marker over that guy's head, I guess I have to kill him, like that kind of thing? Who knows? Null Peta. An elementary school girl who's also G's inventor. She brings her dead sister back to life as Peta Robo using her character's knowledge. Her Robo sister's a little different than she used to be. I don't know if I want to deal with that. Ooh, obsolete. This looks heavy mecha. The year is 2014 and aliens have come to Earth without warning to request for a trade. They offer conscious control robots, exoframes, in return for limestone. Exoframes are cheaper than fighter jets, tanks, or guns, and anyone can easily ride them. They quickly spread and begin to change the world. I bet. Interesting. I don't know. But interesting. Yeah, limestone is just calcium carbonate, isn't it? Like, it's a pretty... What the hell did they run out of on their planet that they can't just generate limestone? Yeah, the Meerkat. No trick here. It's like, yep, no trick here. The aliens are just up in space and be like, oh, we need to give them all these things so they destroy themselves. What should we get? Well, they have a lot of calcium carbonate. Cool. Okay, yeah, limestone it is. Awesome. Whatever. Just take something from them they probably don't think they need. Anyway. One Punch Man's getting some specials on the second season BD and DVD. Overlord. Play Pleiades. I didn't watch Overlord, so... or read it. Romance Dawn. Boy, that looks an awful lot like One Piece, doesn't it? Wonder why that is. Oh, it's the second version of the thing that eventually turned into One Piece. So, One Piece is so popular that they're animating the shit it was based on, and we're never going to get a Sailor V anime, are we? Sure. Nope. Sorry, don't know what that is. So I was getting a special. Don't know what that is. So yeah, you have heard a lot of things in that list. You have heard everything that I'm talking about this season. I want Sailor V because I want to see how they would do it. That's why I like watching a lot of these things, because I want to see how they will do it. That's all. It's just curiosity. Sometimes it's not about, I need to have this thing done. There's manga I read where I'm like, I would love to see this animated because I think more people need to be exposed to it. Like Marokata Madoka-chan. Marokata Madoka-chan is so good. And I bet you we get an anime someday. Just not yet. And it'll probably be 3-minute shorts, which I'm fine with. But damn, yeah, I'd love to see that because I'd love more people to be aware of this thing. But it probably already is out there. Marokata Madoka-chan is a manga where a guy walks home from work every day or is walking to work every day or whatever. It's usually he's walking home from work. And he always walks the same way, and he always walks by this one woman's house on the first floor. She lives in an apartment or something like that. And he always walks by, and she always slams the window open. She has, like, the way they draw her is that she has no mouth drawn. She always just has like what looks like a lollipop in her mouth or something. It's not a cigarette, but it's just like a lollipop or something. So she's just drawn with a line showing this thing, but there's no mouth. It's just out from nothing. So you never see her smile. She never says a word, but she's very expressive. And every time they slide open the window, or every time she slides open the window, it's something else is going on inside her room. Whether it's like, oh, we're having Christ, what's one thing that she did recently? She was a soba shop one time. She was a convenience store another time. I think recently she was like she was a roast potato car. Like you can get like roast sweet potatoes out of the back of a van, like a three-wheeled van. And inside her room was the van, and she was making roast potato in the back of that. It's like Tonari no Seki-kun, which did get an anime, and it's just like these moments of, and she never says anything, and he has to keep talking and asking her stuff, and to try to get like, you know, like, what's this? What's going on? Why are you doing this? So it's super funny. Because he just goes along with it, and it's just really fun. Like, it's really good natured and straightforward and stuff, and it's always a different thing. And I'm like, I would love to be in this guy's life, just to walk by and have a new weird thing happen to me every day. And he always is surprised. Always is surprised. Snow Wolf asks, would I be interested in reading an isekai about becoming a pet doggo, probably named Wan Wan Monogatari? I'm guessing, because I'm already reading it. If that's what you mean. I'm reading way more isekai. I said 2 years ago, I think I'm not into this isekai thing at all. And then I started reading more, and people started recommending more on the Something Awful forums. The anime forum on Something Awful is pretty damn good. And you got to go into it with a strong, like, you know, you got to go into it with a strong heart, because they definitely have that thing of, what, you brought up something to do with tits? Get out! Because they don't want it to turn into that thing where it was, like, I guess 10 years ago, where people just talked about all the titty anime they watched, and it gave them a really bad reputation. I mean, the name of it is ADTRW, which is Anime Death Tentacle Rape Warehouse. Oh, thank you. No, not warehouse, something different. But yeah, have you ever saw subs in like the 2000s by ADTRW? That's what that stood for, because everything about that forum was very self-aware about how, you know, this is how anime is kind of deal. Except that a lot of them started to realize that there was kind of the whole, you know, like, I'm being racist for irony, and everyone's like, you're being racist. It's like, wait, no, I'm not being a racist. I'm not being oh, I see what happened there. I pretended to be the thing that is terrible, and everyone just thinks that I'm being terrible. And it's like, aha, I was only pretending. Oh shit, I did the thing that made everyone think I was terrible. Oh, we got to clean this place up. And that has been going on for a long time. In ADTRW was a place where it's going, but all over Something Awful, a lot of that cleanup's been going on when they realized there's a lot of people here who are just assholes, and they don't need to be here because they're assholes. So ADTRW has become a much more interesting forum for me to go to read a lot of like the manga threads, to find out about stuff that is coming out that I'm interested in. And I don't go to every thread, but I stay in the threads for like, here's the good dad manga that's happening. Here's the really good surreal daily life manga. Here's the really good stuff about, like, as more isekais start coming up, people are like, well, here's an interesting isekai, because they really are like surreal daily life, because they're daily life happening in a weird space. And so I started looking at more of these things, and like, that's actually a really interesting idea. Like, there's a new surreal daily life one is Marie the Witch Isn't a Witch, and it's very cute. I do recommend you reading it. So yeah, it's about this little girl who's living like as a witch in like Europe, during the time when like witch burnings were a thing, and she's like, I'm just trying to not let everyone know I'm a witch, and I have to do my best to make sure they don't realize. And meanwhile, people are like, yeah, we drowned that witch. And she's like, oh, God, I don't want to be a witch, like that kind of thing. But she is a witch. She can talk to cats and crows and stuff like that. There was a thing the other day where she broke her broom. It's a comedy. She broke her broom over one of these guys' heads because he was like an inquisitor. And she was like, oh, God, and broke her broom over his head. And now this thing's happened. And don't worry about that, because in this chapter, she's like, I broke my broom and it's what I ride around on. Oh, but I guess I could ride around on something else. And then there goes in a little brief thing about like how in Germany, witches were like ride around on all sorts of things. They rode around on ladders and they rode around on like all sorts of other stuff. And it's like, it wasn't just brooms. And so she's like, I got to get something new to ride around in. And so in one, she picks a barrel and she's like, a barrel. Perfect. And she gets inside the barrel and she sits very still, and the barrel takes off in one panel and rockets forward another panel. And she has the same look on her face the entire time. And she's just like, and is like flying around and stuff, and then lands and gets out. And it's like, that really isn't my thing. And then there's like a rating. And it's like barrel, safety, 5 stars, reliability, 5 stars, excitement, 1 star. And it's just really cute because she's just like the whole time. So it's just one of these like weird, fun things where it's like there's always this kind of set of danger and that something might happen to her, but of course they're never going to let anything happen to her because it's just about being goofy. So it's Marie the Witch Isn't a Witch. And it's a manga. I think it'd actually make a funny little anime too, but you know, it's a manga. So, yeah. So, right. Talked a lot, summed up some stuff. If you guys have any more questions, now would be the time to ask, because I'm going to eat some chips and then we're going to go home. Oh, it's yuzu and lemon. That would explain why. I'm like, this is sharper than just yuzu. Yes, there will be VODs. How long have I been on for? Jesus. I've been here 2.5 hours. Cool. All right. I haven't been texted by Heather yet to say come home. So, oh yeah, okay, questions. Actually, Doodles just asked, do you folks still get the Tokyo Treats boxes? Yeah, we do. And I have completely forgotten who sends them. But thank you. Also, there's this. USA fried potato. All right, let's roll back this a little bit. What is my chip meta? I think I showed that. What if I don't want to go home? Well, what if you're already there? I mean, that's nice too. Arg, I missed it. Will there be VODs? Grittygrams, yes, there will be VODs. Unless we have to not have VODs for whatever reason. I don't know why we wouldn't. But that's because I don't know what the issue might be currently, why we would not have a VOD. But keep in mind, there could not be a VOD. I don't think we've done anything that will break any sort of problem. I didn't play music, and I didn't show any videos or put up a lot of art. I worked off of a single web page. Could just be fine. Was Are We Lost good or not? I can't decide. Malady Dark, I liked it. That's what I thought. I liked it. I even have now gone back to try to read the manga. Did Fire Force do something specifically bad or just preference stuff? Corcus, I was finding it hard to be interested in it in the beginning, and but then I was starting to get into it, and then I was starting to bounce off of it, and then the Lucky Lude girl shows up, and I was just like, kind of had enough of this, and I was done. And if you want, you can go watch my whole probably 10 minutes I spent talking about it earlier in the VOD. Alchemist Merlin subscribed for 54 months saying, Nime. Let's see here. Was there a mail time? I mean, we are always getting mail. We haven't put the new mail up yet. We're not putting the Tokyo Treats boxes in the mail times because they don't come addressed from the person who is sending them. They come addressed from the location they come from. So I actually don't remember who it is who sent it, and I'm sorry about that. But we are always getting Tokyo Treats, but we don't put them in there anymore. We just, because we don't want to wait a month and then open up to old snacks. So now they just go on the table, we open them up, and we enjoy the snacks like we're supposed to. And everyone fights over the drinks, and I get to have the umaibo. Except this time it was a natto umaibo, and I ate half of it and then decided I was done eating it. Still going through the things. Same time tomorrow then. Absolutely, Lanthus. I'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time to talk about more anime. Razroth asks, best funny animal for couple... Best furry animal for couples to watch. Probably the sloth is a good furry animal, or a red panda. They're cute. Best funny anime for couples to watch, Razroth asks. From a recent season, you should probably, if you like Mahou Shoujo and you like real goofy stuff, Machikado Masaku, The Demon Girl Next Door, is really good from really recent. I'd say give that a go. I think it has a lot to do with your what you're both into as well. Because I've watched some funny stuff this season that Heather's just like, nah, not watching that with you. Tough. But also, I mean, like, Fruits Basket can be funny, but it can also be really dramatic, and that might be a fun thing to do as a couple as well, is to watch that. We'll see you later, Dark Morford. You've probably already left because it's been 3 minutes. Sorry. Would it be better to hold off some mealtime until after Desert Bus to avoid filling the moon base with extra boxes? No, just send your stuff. If you're going to send your stuff, just go ahead and send it. I'm not interested in, making a thing. Remember, anything you send to Mailtime, though, Bionic Trousers Media, attention Mailtime, ATTN::Mailtime. Put that second. If you need to put in a name, put in Mailtime. If you need a phone number for some reason, I guess put your own for the time being. We don't have a phone number at the moon base yet. Maybe I'll get a phone number for the moon base. That could be fun. Except then you guys would probably call it all the time. Don't want you to do that. Because we'd get thousands of phone calls. We'll see. We'll see what we do. But yeah, send all your stuff when you want to do it. And in fact, don't feel like you have to send anything. If you want to send a postcard or you want to send a letter, just do that and feel good about that. You don't have to spend $40 or $80 or $100 on postage to get us cool things. We do have a lot of stuff here. I always ask that if you do feel like sending stuff, please try to err on the side of stuff that's consumable. I'm not saying mail us, like Amazon drop ship us like a 24-pack of toilet paper, though that is handy. What I'm saying is, if you're going to send a package, send a parcel with a cool little snack from the place that you live and talk about what it is or why you like it. Like, you guys, not everybody gets Coffee Crisp, and I like Coffee Crisp because it's a Canadian chocolate bar, and you can't get that in the States. I'm not saying send me Coffee Crisp. I'm just saying that's the kind of thing I think about when that happens, is like a regional snack or something. I would much prefer, and this is going to sound weird, I would much prefer that you guys send us a really cool letter and say, I was going to send you something really nice, but I just decided I'd just back you on Patreon one time only so that you guys would, make a little more money to be able to pay people. That's also really rad. I appreciate that as well. We are depending upon you to survive here, and, that helps us. And then talk in your letters about stuff. I love reading the letters. So let's see here. Bob Ninja Goldfish asks, tuning in from the ER and could use a distraction, so I'll ask, what is your recommendation for a starter slice of life or something more mellow? The proto slice of life that I think got everyone thinking about slice of life as a thing. I mean, there are ones that even before this, but really, Azumanga Daioh is probably like the best starter of this means nothing. Nothing that happens here means anything, and it's fun and goofy. The step up from Azumanga Daioh, as far as I'm concerned, like not the step up, but like once you feel like I want to make a real good leap, there's a show called Nichijou, and you need to watch Nichijou, but you need to prepare yourself for some surreal stuff. It's a lot of fun, but man, it's absurd. And it's probably, no, it's more surreal than absurd. Azumanga Daioh can be absurd. Nichijou can be surreal. Okay. What if I want to be a Toys R Us kid? Feel free. Snow Wolf recommends for adapted dad manga. I'm actually reading the Bokusensa S rank one, where the daughter becomes the S rank. I really like that. Hey Beej, similar to 100, what do you say the best manga you aren't reading this season? Are All right, fine. Hang on. How long do you have? I have 700 bookmarked. Let's just see what got updates. Oh, actually, maybe not all of you reading this. I was talking about Surreal Daily Life. Dainana Joshikai Holko, also known as, I want to find what they'll translate as here, The Wandering of Girls Pair Number 7. That is another surreal manga. I think it's really good. Do give that a shot, maybe. See if you like the feel of that. And if you don't, I'm sorry. But I think that's a really good. I'm trying to think of what's come out recently that I've really liked. I mean, Aharen-san wa Hakarenai, which is Aharen-san is Unfathomable, is a lot of fun. It's very cute. So yeah, I will talk more about those at other times. Or I'll just talk about other manga at other times. Way of the House Husband would be very good as an anime, I think, but I think it would also be suited to like shorter episodes, but it'd be a lot of fun. How do I feel about all the translators that bailed on MangaDex? I literally know nothing about that because I just made an account on MangaDex to try to put things onto MangaDex, and now I'm just finding out that this is happening, Koshindan. So thank you for that. I don't know what the hell's going on there. But I get my manga from a bunch of different, like, from a few other sources, like Dynasty Reader is a place that I go to read mostly Yuri manga. They seem to have a big concentration of that kind of stuff. And then I have Manga Rock installed on my iPhone, and I'm probably migrating away from there because I'm not very pleased with them. Even though the app is pretty damn good, I am frustrated with a lot of things, and I have no idea what's going to happen now in the community now that people are like splintering off and doing stuff again. I just wanted to have a place to go to read manga. I might have to have a dozen places now, and I don't really want to do that. It's very frustrating. It's hard to decide who to give money to at that point too, to be like, I want to support all your like, you know, efforts that you're doing. I also, let me get this off my chest. I think that manga and anime exploded as much as it had thanks to fan translations. And I think that people know what to translate and bring over. I think the companies know what to bring over to the American markets, like to the English-speaking markets, based on how popular something is when it got fan translated. I swear that's a thing that's going on. Because they aren't just taking a chance of being like, I got to bring this one thing over because, you know, like, or these 30 things over and see what lands. It's like, no, there's stuff that is popular over here because people translate it a certain way. And I think that fan translators do a very important service to that part of the culture, even though it's like the secondary market in Magic the Gathering, right? It's a thing where it's like, that keeps a lot of people still really interested in playing Magic the Gathering, but WotC can never talk about it or reference it because that would be a bad thing, right? Because that's not part of the thing that they're not involved in that market. And maybe nor should they be, right? I can't say to that anything, but yeah. Anyway, that's certainly I would love to have a way to be able to pay all the translators for the stuff that they're doing, even though I have 700 manga installed. I probably would cut back on what I'm doing. But I'd love to have a way to Patreon that kind of thing to a bunch of people to be like, I want to be a member of this site where you're putting stuff up and get copies of. But yeah, it's just, that's like any other thing, right? It's like, oh, we're going to have to get Disney Plus and Netflix and Hulu and HBO Go and all of these things. If we want to watch one show, we're going to have to subscribe to an entire service. That sucks. And I knew it was going to happen. When Netflix got started, I'm like, oh, well, this seems like a really cool idea. Oh, crap. There's a thing called Hulu now. Oh, we're boned. We're going to destroy cable, and we're going to put money directly into the pockets of the publishers, which they're all getting their money somehow anyway, but I'm just like, oh, God. We're going to get screwed, and we're going to get screwed to twice the amount of money that we used to pay for entertainment just because of how this works. F. And I'm going to be right. And it sucks to be right. And I mean, it's not like I was the only one saying that, but it sucks to be right. Alchemist Merlin asks, speaking of old snacks, I delivered some Japanese challenge candy to the table at PAX Unplugged last year. Did I ever make it back? Alchemist Merlin, I don't remember what that was. If I scroll down and see exactly what it was you dropped off, I'll be able to comment on that more. Because, again, that was PAX Unplugged last year. It's a blur. I'm very sorry about that. But it probably made it back, and it probably made it to the table, and people probably ate some. How is Lura as tenant since you own the building? I don't own the building because I am not myself as I am in Hustle. I wish I owned the building. Polar Bear Cafe is definitely very good. I really like that. That's a fun thing. I think for Heather and I love watching that together. That was a lot of fun. And it's relaxing. Do you feel individual stories that fall into trends have to work harder to garner your interest? Interesting thing to say. Not a bad thing to say, just like an interesting thing to say. Sometimes, yeah. If I find that a cool idea is following stuff, like I said, I bounced off Isekai for a while because I'm like, why? There's just so many of these, and they're all just kind of, hey, look, I can look at my stats and the stats of my opponent, and nobody else can do that, and it's all cheaty, and it's like cheat time Isekai feels like it's a different thing than other Isekai. And when I started finding other Isekai, I was like, oh, I like that way better. We can't do Google Voice in Canada. For people who are saying you can just do Google Voice, but nope. The thing is, okay, to reference the phone number thing again, I know we're way back in chat. I'm way back in chat because I'm like 8 minutes back in chat. The reason why you might need a phone number is because people are... To ship anything internationally these days, you need to write a phone number on the form. And if you don't write the phone number of the person you're shipping stuff to, you have to write your own phone number, and then they'll have to call you. And if you don't speak German when they call you, you're a little surprised at what you should be saying to them. So whenever we have to ship you things now, we're going to need to know phone numbers just to ensure that we can get it into the mail in the first place. That's going to be rough. So having a phone number could be handy for that, but it would only to be like, hey, we have a package being delivered or something and we need to contact somebody. And if I send it to voicemail, then I'm like sending it to voicemail all the time, and I need to be checking voicemail, and I fucking hate voicemail so much with a passion. I don't want to check it ever. So there's that. Anyway. Oh, Fuge, I didn't want you to cancel the washlet order. I found a discount washlet the other day. I found a Toto that was on sale for half price somewhere, but it had a crack in the thing, and I was like, do I buy that? Do I dare dream the dream and I buy a Toto washlet for half price? And then I was like, oh, if it has a crack in the plastic, maybe that doesn't affect the thing, but the guy didn't say whether it worked or not. He just said, I have this, haven't hooked it up, don't know if it works. I'm like, I don't want to order a very expensive thing that doesn't work. So anyway. Moving on. Yeah, Heather likes postcards. We all like postcards. Now I am streaming through everything. Should I watch Pop Team Epic? Yeah, and if you don't like it, then you should stop. You guys are answering each other's questions pretty well, too. Have I seen Kanatakara, an old isekai? I don't think I have. I mean, if you want to go old isekai, Fushigi Yugi. Heather and I were talking about that, and like, I'm pretty sure that qualifies as an isekai. Anything else? A question mark. Thank you for the update, the Maricat on Mangadex. Okay, I might try that. Maybe, we'll see. Still scrolling through, going faster and faster, up to 9:59 now. And I'm going to get caught up. You guys are all saying very interesting things. Yeah, as Girl Painting says, we Germans speak all English. And it's like, yeah, I realize that. There are so many people living in Europe that actually just can also speak English as well. So I'm like, I guess that wouldn't be too big a deal. Beej, have you seen Baka and Test? I think I watched an episode of it, and I think Heather and I both bounced off of it. We're just like, I don't think this is going to be my thing. And Inuyasha is technically an isekai, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, another classic isekai, Nescaflowne, Magic Knight Rayearth. Anything where somebody has been zapped to another thing. Yeah, Wizard of Oz is technically an isekai. It's true. When you've been zapped to another world and you have adventures there. So there you go. All right. We're done. It's 10:05. I appreciate you all being here. I should go home. I'm going to thank Bob the Ninja Goldfish for the gift of 5 subs to the channel. To Mint Zach, Frage69, Archon458, Trollbanist, and Izuki Southwest, I'm going to guess. Thank you so much. I had a great time here tonight. We will do this again in 3 months, roughly, when the next season, when this coming season is over and a new one looms. And there'll be new interesting things. I already know about new interesting things coming up in winter of 2020 that I'm kind of like, I can't wait to comment on those things as well. So y'all have a great night. Please enjoy life in general, because it's kind of cool that happens. Thanks for the 100 bits, Maricat. Glad you had fun here tonight. And I'm going to go home and probably make dinner, because it is 10 o'clock and I should probably be eating dinner at this point. So you guys have a great night.